Okay then, Bullshit Busters has started. And I'm your host, Mr. Red Fox, and with me are two, um, i- is my co-host and a guest. Um, Introduce yourselves, please, from left to right, which I guess would start with Dark 1008.
Alright. This is Dark One 008. Let's have another fun podcast.
All right. Now for Mr. Triple M.
Thank you, Mr. Red Fox. And let me just open up to say, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Bullshit Busters episode 3.
That is correct. This is the Bullshit Busters episode 3, which don't let the numbering fool you. There's actually 4 episodes. there's a 1.5, but basically, tonight's topic is fanboyism in the media, in the video game media, and how arrogance can sometimes be a good or bad thing depending on how it's channeled. I'm going to open it up with a simple little article, which I'm not going to read off of. I'm just going to give you the general gist, and then I want to hear your guys' take on it. Basically, two things. First, both of these come from IGN because when I think of a place where fanboyism is running rampant with no control whatsoever, IGN is the place. So, one is from Colin Moriarty.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go again, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, it's not the one you think. About 2.5 years ago, the Vita came out, and Colin Moriarty wrote this wonderful article, which was just praising how badly the 3DS was going to be screwed, and how the 3DS was just going to be destroyed by the Vita, because the 3DS was so much more powerful than the Vita, and so much more, it was so much more powerful and had so many more features, and it was just going to destroy the 3DS. And now, 2.5 years later, nothing's happened. As a matter of fact, actually, I take that back. The opposite has happened. The Vita has firmly and decisively planted its foot up the Vita's behind, and we haven't heard anything from Colin Moriarty about it. The thought that hits me is this, and here's where I'm just gonna jump off, and then you guys can jump in. It seems kind of odd to me that historically, I mean, any old school gamer can tell you, every single handheld that came out against the Nintendo's handheld tended to be much more powerful than Nintendo's handheld. And guess what? It happened. Nintendo's handheld ultimately put its foot right dead up that handheld's behind. It's always happened. It's never not happened. Now, mobile gaming, people are like, well, mobile gaming is a completely different concept. I'm talking about a handheld, which is different from mobile gaming, okay? A direct handheld, every single one that's gone up against Nintendo's handheld at the time got its ass handed to it. And I find it amusing that someone who is over 30 and probably could open a history book would think that Sony would have a chance.
Who even experienced in the gaming industry?
Well, I mean, I don't call those faux journalists over at IGN, I don't call them journalists, because they're
tabloid journalists.
Well, they aren't even tabloid journalists, because even tabloid journalists have to follow some type of credo. But someone's got the YouTube thing open. They might want to close that. There's reverb.
Oh, that might be me.
Yeah. But yeah, so what are you guys' thought on that? I mean, clearly it was a fanboyish, either it was fanboyism or he was trying to drum up, alter reality by, going in against 30-something years of history. Well, not 30-something years, 25 years of history, because the Game Boy came out in America 25 years ago today. So, So clearly, he's trying to beat a quarter of a century of history that says, I'm sorry, if your handheld is more powerful than whatever Nintendo has out, it's going to get its ass kicked. So what are your thoughts on this fanboyism?
Can I go first?
Go ahead.
Let me just say, I am very, very, very dumbfounded of what Colin Moriarty is drumming something out of his mouth. And to be honest, at first, the first time I was introduced to Colin Moriarty, let me just say, I actually respect the fellow. I mean, he does bring up good points against Nintendo of the small and even big mishappenings that Nintendo have made. But when he goes the other side of the realm, and especially with Sony, I'm like, is this person really believing the boldness that's coming out of his mouth? And I mean, ever since the like Mr. Red Fox says, ever since the whole PSP Vita is going to destroy the 3DS, that was the time that I was like, oh yeah, Colin Moriarty, you're really blowing this whole thing out of proportion here. And for 2-3 years later, here we are today. Now I'm even having doubts the points that he makes against Nintendo for the choices that they make.
Well, I mean, the thing is that, like, I mean, I guess I'll make a video tomorrow.
Keep in mind, the opinions he has against the Wii U, they are, I can see them to be valid. But
well,
maybe. Yes, go on.
I mean, I realize that everyone's entitled to their opinion, and everyone's opinion is. But the thing that bothers me is that there are literally, I mean, and I guess this segues nicely into the reason I made this video in the first place. There was another article on Time magazine where this gentleman wrote this article talking about how the Wii U hasn't, with all of its updates, hasn't gone far enough. And, it's not good enough. And I'm like, okay, I can understand that, but why aren't you talking about how there's these two other consoles that don't have things that the Wii U is doing that are really good? Like, the Wii U is backwards compatible. And I mean completely backwards compatible. I mean, like, okay, not only do you get to carry over your entire Wii profile from your last gen system, you get to play your backwards compatible games. They're making it so that you can use your backwards compatible peripherals. And here's a big kicker. I mean, I understand that Microsoft and Sony are like, well, we can't make our systems backwards compatible because of the architecture. On digital games, you can't make data compatible because the Nintendo's doing it. Nintendo is literally taking their back catalog of virtual console games and making them available for the Wii U Virtual Console. I mean, and yeah, it's not happening as quickly as I would like, but slowly but surely, it's getting there.
And keep in mind, if I remember that article correctly, it stated that only die-hard Nintendo fans might find this not very forward-thinking. But when I read that, I had in my mind that maybe he's actually he's talking about the very few, the very minority of the fans that actually buys that system. So if it was actually for the majority of the people, yes, I would consider this could be a bad thing for Nintendo. But since it's the very few, I know Nintendo's going to sacrifice for the very few for the needs of the many.
I don't know. I don't think so, because I think he's actually come out and said that he's a big fan of Sony, so he's probably gonna have more of a bias to Sony.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that you have two consoles that are talking that literally don't have backwards compatibility with physical media, don't have backwards compatibility with digital media, which is, I mean, let's be frank, okay? I can kind of understand physical media. Because when Nintendo moved from cartridges to discs, yeah, I'm not going to be able to play my N64 games anymore. I can understand that. But I mean, literally, I can play my Wii. Literally, my Wii U is also a Wii. I can play my Wii library of games easy. And now that they're changing they're reintroducing them for the Wii U Virtual Console for like a nominal fee, like $1, $1.50, $2 for N64 games probably. I'll be able to play those games all over again on my Wii U. I mean, that is awesome.
Now, speaking about also the rental service for Sony, I really thought that Sony would have hit the park with it, but then when I heard the price structure,
yeah,
and the thing is, the way I found out is from Hip Hop Gamer, no less, who also has a disdain for this pricing, and I'm like, wait a minute. Hip Hop Gamer, a Sony fan, I mean a diehard fan, and not in a negative way, but a diehard fan that basically said that the Wii U is not next gen. He is actually against at least the pricing structure for this, and I'm like, oh boy, I think Sony might have to reevaluate their pricing thing.
Well, the problem with it is that Sony's games don't hold their value. Their first-party games don't hold their value. The games on their system that they have for their PlayStation Now don't hold their value. Like, they're like, hey, you can get this game for 90 days for like $50. It's like, that game, I could go to GameStop and get it used for 15. That's not, and have it forever. That's not a very equitable pricing model. I'm sorry, but it isn't.
And top it all off, too, you can't download the game. You're streaming it, so there's going to be all kinds of issues.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is everything that Microsoft wanted to do, but Sony was a little bit better at getting it out the door. They snuck it. It's kind of like if your parents want to give you medicine, and one parent might give it to you straight up, the other parent will mix it with something sweet. Sony mixed it up with something sweet, but you're still taking that sour-tasting, bitter, disgusting stuff. They're just sneaking it to you, around the back. I mean, and sadly, I hear people, they're like, PlayStation Now, it's going to be awesome. I'm like, Here's the thing. In my day, I have used GameFly, and other video game rental services, and all of them ultimately are kind of like, I'll tell you the truth, in my opinion, even PS Now, even PS Plus is kind of a ripoff, because there'll be like one good game you want to play, and the other three are just like literally I could go to GameStop and get for under $10.
Not to mention they're free games. You download them, and if you don't have PlayStation Plus, you lose access to that game.
Yeah. I mean,
and having it being free is being the only option too.
Well, yeah, and I mean, to add insult to injury, I will say this much: please, PS Plus, if you want to buy games at a steep discount, is pretty good. If you want to use their free games, because what you're doing is essentially renting them, it's a joke. It literally is, because once your PS Plus runs out, you're SOL. You know.
Heck, I would even go further than that. How about when your internet connection goes out, and while you still have electricity to play your games, the games that you are renting, they basically can't be played anymore, which I found that very disheartening. And speaking about that, if all of you people that's listening, if you've listened to Zen Gamer's latest Logic cast, I couldn't believe what I heard myself. Apparently, you need PlayStation Plus to actually even download upgrades, and I'm like, I was freaking mind blown.
Man, it's okay. You can say it. This is the Bullshit Busters podcast. It was a load of bullshit. That's what we're here for. We're here to bust some bullshit, and it was bullshit. And Sony, I'll give Sony this much, okay? Microsoft was like out front with the pile of bullshit. They were like, when they unveiled the Xbox One, they wheeled bullshit, and they put it out and on stage. They were like, take a whiff. Look at it. It's a mountain of bullshit. But Sony was like, hey, we're not going to pull any bullshit with you guys. And meanwhile, behind their back, they're waving away the dude with the wheelbarrow full of bullshit. No, man, don't bring it around. We'll slip it in a little bit at a time later on down the line.
Welcome, Doc Phoenix.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey.
We're glad to see you, man. Darker Phoenix, Dark 1008. It's very dark in here. it's very dark in here.
You already know.
Yeah.
But did you get my message? I was like taking care of a baby, so now I'm back.
Yeah, we got it, and we're glad you came back because I mean it's been a while. We heard. I mean, I know you have a very low tolerance for bullshit yourself. That's why I really wanted you in. Because, you know, when bullshit's got to be busted, you know.
Oh, yeah. I have a very, low tolerance for bullshit, and then, I will speak my mind on it.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to go too in-depth on it, but, basically, my whole training background from, junior high school, actually before high school, I went to private schools where they taught us critical thinking and how to break down things and look for the motives behind people's motivations. So I've been trained, and then on top of all of that, I majored in politics and sociology. So really, and then after that, I worked on Capitol Hill for a couple of years. So really, you could say my entire career for a long time was geared towards dealing with bullshit. So,
Gotcha.
I've handled so much bullshit that I can sense it like a Jedi with the Force. I'm like, that's some bullshit right there. That's a big pile of bullshit. I think they really I think they tried to sneak it in on us, but I'm not dumb enough to not know it's not bullshit, you know. But anyway, we were talking about Colin Moriarty, and then we went on to Time Magazine trying to sneak in the, just bashing the Wii U. But, you notice something. After that E3 where Nintendo curb stomped everyone, a lot of people are reevaluating how they think about the Big N.
Yeah, you remember, whenever you used to type in, Wii U, let's say, this time last year, you type in Wii U, and you only see... Wii U sales are down. People are pulling Wii U's off the shelves. Bad news this, bad news that. But now you type in Wii U, nothing but good news. So it makes you look stupid if you bash it now. It really does.
Well, it's not that. You're still saying.
Oh, sorry.
And it's.
Oh no, go ahead, Dark One.
All right. No, that sounds completely familiar. It's not like the 3DS has done something like that too.
Yeah. Well, the thing that gets me is that you're seeing a lot of this now, and it's kind of okay, I don't think the Wii U is going to do a Wii, but I think it's going to do better than the GameCube because it's got the games to do better than the GameCube. the technology is better than what the GameCube had. And here's the thing, the GameCube, despite its minuscule size, it was smaller than the Xbox, and it was smaller kinda than the PS2, was very powerful for its size, and it could do a lot of stuff. And a lot of people, I mean, the Wii U, I mean, look, listen, I already know for a fact, when Smash Bros. Comes out later on this year, I'm going to get like 2 or 3 amiibos right off the bat. I'm just going to, it's going to come with one. I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to have to get Link because I'm a Link fan. I've been a Link fan since Link to the Past on the SNES. Even though I first thought that I didn't know his name was Link, I thought his name was Zelda because, damn it, the series is called The Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, like
that is...
Yeah.
It's kind of like if like Zelda was called, if Super Mario was called Princess Peach, but the main character was Mario.
Yeah, I mean, it's very confusing.
That would throw you off.
You know what? I actually wish that they actually kept the Hyrule Fantasy moniker. I really wish they could have kept that.
Yeah, I mean that would have made more sense. But you know what? I'm not that mad because Link. I mean, like in my opinion, and I've heard many people give many different views on The Legend of Zelda, but the thing that really makes Link such a great hero is that he doesn't have superhuman powers. He isn't invincible. He's just some ordinary dude who says, you know, enough of this bullshit. I'm gonna have to stand up against the darkness. And he takes his sword and a shield and he goes out with his pack that can carry everything. That's his.
Another thing I love about Link is that like you know how like most heroes like try to be all perfect and have all the morals, but like Link, he has those morals, but like it also shows his human side. He's very lazy too.
Yeah, he won't talk for the life of him. Like Link literally could get like stabbed in the chest and he'll just go.
You know what? Yeah, going back on that Hyrule Fantasy title, I'm not pretty sure, but if they ever make a spin-off of a Zelda title, I'm really hoping they actually use the Hyrule Fantasy as the big title and put a subtitle near it. And I think they're doing that right. They're going in that direction because
with Hyrule Warriors.
Yes, exactly. Look at Hyrule Warriors, and it got the title with the word Hyrule on it.
Yeah. Well, I think this is going to be a spin-off, just like those Gundam games. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if next year we get another Hyrule Warriors game. No, not yet. Not next year. Maybe the year after next. Because next year, I think they're going to try and get out
the big Zelda game.
The big Zelda game, yeah.
Let me know if I'm using this word correctly. Go ahead first.
Well, I was gonna say that I don't care how good, how much I'm gonna enjoy Hyrule Warriors when it comes out. I don't think it's gonna stand a chance against Zelda Wii U. I mean, I'm sorry, unless it comes out at a completely different time of the year, and even then, those people will be making something else next year. So, you know.
The thing. You can't really compare Hyrule Warriors to like Zelda, but like let me know if I'm like using this correctly. I don't think like Hyrule Warriors is canon, like so to speak. I don't think it's part of the real series.
No, but I mean, it's like here's the thing. The thing that kind of got in the way since Ocarina of Time is that before Ocarina of Time, The Legend of Zelda was a series of puzzles and exploration. Well, exploration and a series of puzzles with a little bit of combat thrown in between. Combat was not the primary focus. And then Ocarina of Time came out, which Ocarina of Time. But Ocarina of Time did a disservice to the series in that it added combat when really, I mean, The Legend of Zelda is about going into a dungeon and saying, I got to get to that place over there. How the hell am I going to do it? Let me think. Okay, let's see here. If I push this button... It
didn't have that, like, the Water Temple was a puzzle nightmare, for God's sakes.
It was, but, I mean, when I say that, I mean, like, you'd be trying to solve a puzzle, and then, like, some damn enemies would jump you. And you're let me kill these people while I get back to solving this puzzle.
It would do that in A Link to the Past, too, especially, like, the 7th level when they knock you back to... the thing knocks you back down to the 11th floor, from the 11th floor to the first floor. I mean, but like I know where you're coming from though. Like they made it more combat based than like puzzle solving based.
And I mean every other Legend of Zelda game after that, they were trying to overcome. They're like trying to top themselves with combat, and I'm like
Skyward Sword does that. The Skyward Sword is where they really lost.
You don't have to focus so much on combat because it's not about. And I mean now we have a Zelda where it's all about combat. So I mean.
I wanted to interject about that water temple where that that spider jumps on you when you're actually thinking of planning out the puzzle.
Yeah.
To be honest, I really don't think, or I don't see it as the combat being a detriment to the puzzle. I believe it actually adds to it because I'm
not complaining about the combat, but I kind of see. He kind of saying that like the combat kind of made it like the combat in Ocarina of Time actually, I don't know, I think it added to it like you say, but like after that, like people like Skyward Sword is more about the motion controls and like learning how to sword fight and stuff like that.
Yeah. The thing is that they kept on trying to top themselves. Ocarina of Time, like okay, it's kind of like motion controls, right? I got Twilight Princess for the Wii U, for the Wii when it first came out, because I mean you had that and Wii Sports, and that was basically what you had when you started out. And basically, Twilight Princess had just enough motion control for me that like, because literally when I play a video game, I don't want to be actually physically involved with it. I just want to sit in my chair, sit back with a soda in my left hand. Or near my left hand, and just play my game like the lazy bastard that I am. Now, Skyward Sword was way too. Well, you got to do it like this. You got to do it like this. You got to do, and once you got it straight, then you could waggle around and just tear a dude up. But it was just a real pain. The only thing that saved Skyward Sword for me was that the dungeon design was still pretty damn top notch.
Oh, yeah.
And they actually innovated a little bit on the dungeon design, but like I don't know, I feel like if they have like the combat gets in the way. Don't get me wrong, every Zelda game ever is like a 9 or and above, and most of them are 10s.
Yep.
But I get where you're coming from.
But I mean, I will say this much though: from now on, every single Zelda game has to have bomb bowling. Every single one.
Yeah.
Bomb bowling, bomb bowling, bomb bowling. As a matter of fact, that needs to be a mini game where you can win a heart. You know, some dude, do. Welcome to bomb bowling.
If you get a strike, you get all your heart.
Yeah, if you manage to get 10 strikes in a row with the bomb bowling, you get a heart piece, and after that, you get like 300 rupees. Just play it until your money's maxed out. Then go spend it on, I don't know. Like that's another thing that kind of got on my nerves with The Legend of Zelda. Once you get everything, it's like money has no purpose. It's like I don't need money. I can buy. I mean, then they added chews, so then you don't even really need to buy potions. You can just find a golden chew and just mine the golden chews, and then get 4 of those, and you're done.
And yet you know how hard it is to get those golden chews to appear in the first place.
Well, not in Twilight Princess. There were certain places where they'd always show up. You just go off and then come back and get it again. Go off, come back, get it again. It's pretty easy.
Oh yeah, but just going to those specific places is already hard enough.
Now, Skyward Sword, their golden chews were a little bit hard to get, but. We digressed off the main topic.
Well, actually,
go back to the main topic.
There's one thing about you know how some websites they'll say, well, this is going to be the worst Zelda game ever and all that other stuff, but when the next game comes out, they'll say the game that was the worst.
Oh yeah,
the best one.
Oh my gosh, the Zelda cycle! How can we forget about the Zelda cycle? Another thing that is that needs to be needs to be busted, and quite frankly, from a Nintendo fan.
Well, I'll be frank with you. I tend to ignore. I just like certain I can see flaws with every Zelda except for Link to the Past, and I can see good things with every Zelda. I mean, basically, I'm just gonna look at sales. A lot of people like to poo-poo on Twilight Princess, but it's like the third highest selling Zelda of all time. So clearly, it can't be that bad.
Oh, and to be noted, it came out on 2 systems, but
Yeah.
not like Sony is doing with Uncharted 4. No, they actually came out at almost at the same time.
Yes. So the Zelda cycle just kind of. The thing is that people don't like gamers. Despite what we may say, we're conservative, right? We want the same thing. We want the same thing every time. It's kind of like making a game is kind of like going to your favorite restaurant, right? Your restaurant is your console manufacturer and their first-party offerings, right? It's like there's a Nintendo's, which is, home-style Japanese funky cooking. Then there's Sony, which is like Japanese, which used to be Japanese American fusion, but now they're serving the same crap as their competitor, Microsoft. Basically, except it's like a cheap imitation of Microsoft stuff. Except Microsoft only has 3 specialties. Sony has like 18, but all of them are really bad knockoffs. And then you have Nintendo. They've been serving the same crap, generally speaking. But, it's the same style of stuff. They update the menu, but it's the same style of stuff for the last 32 years. And, gamers want to go and they want to know what they're getting, the same type of thing every time, even if the chef changes. Because, a few years ago, Shigeru Miyamoto, the head chef, he handed off a lot of his stuff to some of the people underneath him. But
Yeah.
the quality is still up there. Zelda's still good. Super Mario 3D World, yes. It didn't have the Koji Kondo tunes. I'm mad about that. Bring back Koji Kondo. But... But if you'd have told me that game was not made by Shigeru Miyamoto, I would have said you were lying.
No. More like we would riot with pitch and forkers.
No, I would just say if someone said that was made by people Miyamoto mentored and not Shigeru Miyamoto himself, I'd say you were lying. Which tells you how good Nintendo is at growing their IPs. Because they saw Miyamoto's getting up there, he's going to retire. We need to start training some new people. So
Can you imagine if somebody else outside of Eiji Aonuma had been making Zelda instead of him, and some I got into an argument with some idiot over the internet. He said, "Oh, Aonuma has ruined Zelda." I'm like a link between. That's what I'm saying.
A link between worlds?
I completely no. I was just naming stuff like A Link Between Worlds, Skyward Sword, Twilight Princess,
Majora's Mask.
How is it ruined? And the Wind Waker, sure, it was cartoony, but like
that game is dark.
It's cartoony, but like it's more violent than a lot of. It's very, very violent, though, especially the way he stabbed him in the head.
Yeah, and it's dark. Puppet Ganon. When he's got Zelda in that room, oh man, that is creepy. I'm like, is he molesting Princess Zelda? Ew.
And the thing is that Hyrule drowned. A whole civilization drowned.
Well, that's not true. The Zoras, some of the stuff in Wind Waker makes no damn sense. Like the Zoras turn into bird people. I'm like, they're made out of if any race, if Hyrule drowned, if any race. Well, I'm just saying.
You have to wonder if the ocean itself is actually salt-based or fresh-based.
I don't care. In Majora's Mask, they had Zoras who could live in the ocean. All I'm saying is this: if any race of people could have been fine in a waterlogged Hyrule, it would have been the Zoras. It's raining. Well.
That's completely. Yeah, I completely agree. Like, there are no Zoros. And in a Water Zelda game, there are no Zoros. That's horrible.
That is totally messed. I'm like, how are you gonna have? That's like when you hear about the Bible story, and they're like, the world was flooded and everything died. You mean including the fish and the dolphins and the aquatic creatures? I mean, that makes no sense to me. I mean, I'm not.
Look up Joe Rogan's like joke of Noah's Ark, but like anyway, back to Zelda. Man, holy crap!
That'd be ironic considering that you got our world without any of the, Zoras.
Yeah, and then in Twilight Princess, you discover the Gorons don't need air to breathe. There's one that winds up crashed into a fountain in Zora's fountain. He's just in the bottom of the tank, just chilling out. I mean, obviously the Gorons aren't dead. They're like, hey man, I'm made out of rock. I don't need air to breathe. I only need to eat rock. It's not like I can't find rock underwater on the ground. I mean, that's some. I'm sorry, Wind Waker kind of has a few things that just, I mean, I'll tell you the truth. The one thing, and I know they're probably not going to do this for the next Zelda Wii U, but if they make another one, like in this generation, kind of like how they did Wind Waker, I would like to see a Legend of Zelda take place outside of Hyrule. Because, frankly speaking, at this point, I'm tired of Hyrule. I know, blasphemy. I'm tired of Hyrule. I want to go to different ones.
I completely agree too. Like, I like Skyward Sword because it takes place in Skyloft.
Yeah.
In other places, not like just some castle over here. Well,
it's not just that. I'm just tired of Ganondorf. I mean, because basically, Eiji Aonuma has said that the Legend of Zelda timeline has could go on for hundreds of thousands of years. You'd think Ganondorf / Demise would get tired of getting his ass kicked by a young boy in a green tunic. I mean, you think Ganondorf at one point would be like, you know what?
To be fair, there was one time that they tried to resurrect Ganondorf, and he basically came to as a psychopath and didn't have any memories of his earlier life.
Well, that was Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. I understand that. I'm just saying, you'd think at some point Ganondorf would be like, you know what? I'm out.
Yeah, or like
I'm out, dude.
Or this like, or Link would be like, hey, I'm tired of stabbing this dude in the head. Let me cut off one of his fingers right here. Let me cut off this finger and that finger. I'm gonna throw this in the ocean. I'm gonna throw this way across the world. I'm gonna feed this finger to the fish. I'd cut him into 100 pieces. Come back from there. I dare you.
I'm just saying. At some point, these dudes must get tired of losing so much. I mean, if I was Ganondorf, look. Ganondorf is the one male Gerudo born to the entire tribe, which means really his only real job is to make more Gerudos. That's what I'd be doing with all my time. He's got all these hot young women walking around. Why do you want to take over the world, baby?
It's gonna fail you. It's gonna go back into darkness for 1,000 years.
I mean,
it's gonna come along, stick a sword in your head.
Why? I mean, I'd just be like, look, dude's like, come on, we have to go fight him again. No, I'm gonna chill out with all these hot young women, hot young brown-skinned, nicely tanned women, and make more Gerudos. And
they desperate too. Like, man,
that's what I'm gonna do.
Like thousands of years.
I mean, come on, we all know about this. Remember that Chinese proverb, greed will imprison us all.
I don't know about that, but I'm just saying it just makes no sense to me. Now,
I want to go to that. I want to get back to that one word when you said change. I remember event status brought up that when I think it was either Peter Molyneux or one of the CEOs from EA that said that Peter Moore. They said that gamers don't like change, and Event Status actually wanted. I would say he tried his best to debunk that, but the way he tried to debunk it is with things happening. The innovations that happen in gaming are actually has its workings outside of gaming. But again, Event Status from inside gaming, you can clearly see that
we don't like change.
Yes, they really don't like change.
I mean, I'm gonna go back.
I completely agree. You know, like he said that like gamers don't like change, and like event status is always trying to. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm a fan of event status.
Oh, I bet we all are.
Yeah, I
But, like,
listen to
the
him
thing
a
is,
lot.
He
Yeah.
thinks he can debunk everything ever, but like the fact of the matter is, gamers don't like.
We don't like change.
Like look at it like the Wii U. Like the PS4 is the most uninspiring thing that Sony has done to date.
It's the PS3 with more power.
And that's the thing that's what they want. They want the same controller. Like Nintendo actually innovated with the Wii U big time.
Yep.
And they were like, no. And
well, now they're like, oh, it's a wonderful system. I'm gonna get one this fall for Christmas for Smash Brothers.
I'm talking about like and another example, the Xbox One. Like Microsoft actually tried. They tried to innovate with this.
Yeah, but they were innovating new ways to screw people over, though.
That's true. But the thing is, like, they took the Kinect off. The one innovative thing on that system now is just like a weak PS4.
Well, it's the Xbox 820. No, it's the Xbox 420. But
and you know what? I just want to say that I'm actually a big. I had the epiphany that actually before let me just say when the Wii was first announced, I was the many that did not like what Nintendo was doing with the Wii, and especially with motion controls. But after I actually gave it a chance and bought the Wii and played it for myself, I actually welcomed that change, that specific change, with abundance, because it actually gives some sort of incentive within gaming. Now, I did not acquire Smash Brothers Brawl, but I did play it at a friend's house, and I was amazed. I was surprised. I was flabbergasted when I saw one person actually play Link. At first, I thought this person was playing with at least a GameCube controller. But then when I saw who was playing it and what he had in his hands was actually the nunchuck and the Wiimote, and I'm like, dear God, my friend, how could you play like that? And I was like blown away to see a person that actually plays Smash Brothers. Get this, Smash Brothers
with nunchuck and Wiimote, yeah.
And he actually played Link really well. So well that I'm like, no.
Well, I actually have a little bit. I was thinking about what you said, what I said. Gamers don't like change. I'm gonna walk that back a bit. It's not that gamers don't like change. Gamers like change when it stays true to the spirit of what you're doing, right? So like I don't want a Mario game to be the same thing every time, but I still want it to have the general idea, the spirit of Mario. You know what I mean? Like I want to run around, jumping, platforming, interesting physics. You know what I mean?
Yes,
exactly.
Like I guess that's why I get mad at a lot of third parties with franchises that I like. Like I liked Mass Effect 1. I liked Mass Effect 2. But Mass Effect 3 is completely off the rails from what Mass Effect 1 and 2 was.
Horrible.
I like Dragon Age. I really do like Dragon Age. I got that.
3 is a good game if you like
shooters. If you like third-person shooters, it's great.
Like, holy crap! What a dumbed down game.
Yeah, basically Mass Effect 3 is an RPG for dummies. Like Dragon Age 2 is RPG for dummies. You know.
And you know what? I want to go back to the whole Mr. Red Fox. You said, and actually Dark Phoenix as well, that you guys are tired of just running around on Hyrule. And quite frankly, I'm kind of the opposite, but I understand where you're coming from. But then I wanted to dwell that on the Mario series, where I actually wanted to see a game starring Luigi in a platforming game, but instead of in Mushroom Kingdom, I would like to see a return of Sarasaland. By saving Princess Daisy
from Super Mario Land.
Yeah,
That would be pretty. An alternate like Mario. I don't understand why they haven't done that yet.
Well, they have. Super Mario 3D World is an alternate Mario Land.
yes.
I'm talking about a game starring Luigi, and him make it like Super Mario 64 only with Luigi.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that the only reason I'm not saying that I'm tired of Hyrule, not because I'm tired of Hyrule. It's just I want to see. We know there's a bigger world out there than just Hyrule.
Yeah.
I want to see other countries. I want to see other villains. I want to see other worlds. I mean, it's kind of tired. Like, the reason I really liked Twilight Princess was that I was mildly surprised, because when I first saw Zen, I'm like, oh, it's Ganon. I was like, oh, that's not Ganon. And then finally, at the end, they surprise you. You go to Hyrule Castle, and guess who's sitting on the throne? Tall, dark, and gruesome himself. That was a cool boss fight, though. He's teleporting around in his beast form. That's kind of cool. But anyway,
Yeah.
Gamers just. I mean, it's kind of. I mean, I'm going to use the restaurant example. It's like if you have a favorite pizza restaurant, right? And you go there and they change the recipe, you're really going to notice that they changed the recipe. It's like you wanted your greasy, hot, cheesy pizza that's so hot that you got to kind of let it kind of cool down a bit before you take a bite, lest you burn the roof of your mouth. And when you get there, they're like, well, we have a mango balsamic vinaigrette pizza with mint and basil leaves and a little sprinkle of olive oil and some fresh cracked peppers. Like, what is this shit? I came here for a greasy slice of pizza, and you're giving me this. What's wrong with you? Yeah, it's...
Now, yes. Now, if they actually had their mainstays as a choice, and this new one, I guess we wouldn't have a fuss about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that, like, you know, when you make huge changes to your favorite franchises, I mean, it kind of the fanaticism comes out. Like, it's the reason why you have the Zelda cycle, because you have these people that grew up on the franchise, that love the franchise, that like really like I have friends who every year like they do cosplay. I have a friend, he cosplays as Link every year. And he does a good Link too. He's got like reddish blonde hair. He's kind of short and skinny. He can pull it off.
I think he should have at least some sort of muscles.
Well, I mean, he kind of was ripped in Twilight Princess.
Have to be honest, the 3DS version of Ocarina of Time, Link actually finally is represented. Yes, he is a bit. He has some muscles.
He's a bit buffer.
Yes, because in the artworks, you can see under his clothes that he actually has some define of muscles.
Well,
but yes.
I hate to say this, but I always was partial when it came to the artwork. I like the NES and SNES artwork for The Legend of Zelda more than the new. I don't like Link's new look that much.
Oh, you like the old school, like anime?
I like the old school anime style, like comic drawing. I like that. Because, I mean, literally, like, if they made an entire comic, like, if they made a Dark Horse comic book using that art style, or manga using that art style, I would buy that in a minute. Just the adventures of Link. Just Link going around doing all this stuff. That'd be awesome to me. Because I like the idea of Link being this young kid, this young boy, doing all these amazing things, because it really inspires in a gamer. Because most of the people who play these games, you're a kid when you're playing this game. You realize, wow, this kid doesn't let the fact that he's little and just this young kid stop him from doing great things.
Yeah.
I mean, that is amazing. I mean, it's easy for a hero to be all muscly and strong, but I mean, the cool thing about Link.
Hold on, maybe I shouldn't say muscle. More like he has an athletic build.
Yeah, but the cool thing about Link is that he's just like I said, he's just some guy. He's just some guy, you know. I mean, yeah, they've given him now, well, he's got the Triforce of Courage and all that stuff. But initially, before all that lore came out, He was just some guy who was like,
Right.
you know what? I got to go on a quest. You know.
Yeah, to be honest, Red Fox, I'm actually torn with these art style. I really can't pick which one I really like best, because all of them to me are quite freaking brilliant. I might add.
Yeah, I mean, because like I remember when I was a little kid and I got Link to the Past for my 6th birthday. No, it was for my 5th birthday, because I got my SNES for Christmas, and my birthday's in February, and I got Link to the Past, and I got Castlevania 4, Super Castlevania 4, and I remember, because like you're 5 years old, your reading comprehension isn't to the level where you can play a game like The Legend of Zelda really well, but because I really, at that time, I really liked to read. Like, I basically taught myself to read better from playing that game. And I was like, wow. And I remember reading the art book, the little instruction booklet with all those awesome drawings and stuff. I'm like, wow, this game is
my
shit.
God.
Like, even now, I'm like Ocarina of Time is good. It's a great game, but the art style, I mean, just Link and the art style, I mean, that's one of the things I'm not happy about Nintendo going away from making art instruction booklets. It's all like digital now. I mean, the instruction booklets from back in the day were awesome. You could collect those.
Oh my God! Yes, I also detest that. I mean, when I bought Wind Waker HD, I really wanted to see if the instruction booklet, and all I saw was just the disc and promotion flips. I was pissed.
I mean, the thing is that I'm as a retro gamer myself. I mean, like, I can't. I mean, trying to keep all my stuff in relatively good shape, away from water sources, away from ultra humid sources, and trying to keep up with all that paperwork. I mean, I've lost half of my instruction booklets for games that I don't care about. Like, I was like, I don't care. Super R-Type, I know how to play that game. But I still have my Earthbound. I still have my Legend of Zelda. The booklet has, like, almost fallen apart. I had to restaple it and use tape, but it's still there, baby. It's still there. My Mario booklet. What I'm saying is that the Legend of Zelda, you know, I mean, gamers they like consistency. We like to have things we can. I mean, that's one of the reasons I'm a Nintendo fan. I mean, that's one of the reasons I'm a Nintendo fan, is that I can always count on Nintendo to be Nintendo.
Something that we can always fall back on.
Because if I was counting on Sony to continue to make Pa-Rappa the Rapper, or Jack and Daxter, or Ratchet and Clank, I'd be SOL. If I didn't have, I'd be, because every generation they move on to something else. There's no consistency with them.
Oh, I think this generation it stops though. Is this the part of the show where we talk about the ass of us?
Yes.
Let's talk about the ass of us.
PS3 version? Is it the PS4 version, or is it the PlayStation Now version? Or
yeah,
the thing is, like, a lot of people are, like, Game Informer and people and IGN are giving this game 10s.
Yeah, I know.
It's the same fucking game.
Yeah, literally the only thing. Okay, it's $50 on the PS4, and you get the 1 bit of DLC that wasn't included with it if you got it early. But I'm like,
this game. I'm gonna put this out there before I say anything else. This game is god awful. One of the worst. I got it for free with my PS3, along with Batman Arkham Origins. 2 sucky games. I traded that in. I got it for $1.99. I feel like I got the whole thing for $1.99, even though that's a steal. I feel like I got ripped off with that goddamn game.
Man, at least you got 2 games. I got an extra PS4 controller because I got 2 PS4s. I got an extra PS3 controller because I got one PS3 and something was wrong with it, and I turned that one in and they gave me another PS3 controller. So now I have because normally it just comes with one, because apparently local multiplayer is just a moot point on a Sony console. But you know, they gave me the Jack and Daxter trilogy collection in HD. It's not HD though. It's sub HD because it still looks like garbage.
Just like Devil May Cry HD. Oh man, do you see the massive improvement on that? Sarcasm, obviously.
No. Like, here's the thing. Like, Sony says they're doing an HD, like an up-res. Like, the Ratchet and Clank HD, it doesn't look HD. That is not HD. The Jack and Daxter HD collection, that's not HD. Like, I mean, I'm like, look, if you can't like remake this game into something better, just don't do it. Just go do something else.
You know what?
Another
They
point.
actually stole a bunch. They actually got me for $40 with this like Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy X-2 game. Like they should have released it on Virtual Console for $10, but this game it looks like a PS2 game. And Final Fantasy X-2, I'm not gonna play that crap. Like when I seen you singing, I was done.
But Dark 1008 was gonna say something. What were you gonna say?
It's funny how, you know, Sony can come up with these, you know, collections and they'll get praised for it, but if Nintendo were to do something like that, you know, they'd get, you know, be like,
all over.
Yeah, it'd be like, well, why are you doing this, Nintendo? You shouldn't have to do this and all this, you know. I mean, a good example would be the collection, or was it the Super Mario All-Stars thing that they did back in 2010?
And that was an upgrade. Super Mario All-Stars. I had it for the.
Websites though gave them flack and stuff like, oh, this is no different. But yet you look at Last of Us, and they're giving it praising reviews.
Well,
and it looks slightly better. I completely agree.
Literally, it's slightly better than the. It's slightly better than. It's not even like people are like, oh, this is like the ultimate version. It's not even running at ultra high resolution. It's not ultra high. It's like basically taking a computer, running it at medium, and then putting it in high. And that, I mean, it's like this.
You know, I'm not sure, but this kind of reminds me of what Francis, a video from Francis that when he was actually furious. Let me paraphrase. With the whole this Jesus bite him in the middle of the court, and then you see screen cap of EA's basketball game, and then you hear who was it again?
LeBron James.
No. Oh crap! I forgot this YouTuber's name, but he was like, "What the fuck? You guys see this shit?" Oh, then you see LeBron James' hands going up in the air like Jesus.
Yeah, that was
that was the best clip of.
Well, the thing. Well, what I was about to say is that the thing that bothers me about it is that, you know, and I guess this will be my only little bit where I'm going to talk about the thing that bothers me about a lot of the media. Getting back to the media, is that like Sony and their fans are arrogant. And like the thing is, like, okay, if there's any company in the industry that has earned the right to be a little arrogant, it's Nintendo. Okay. Like, but they aren't arrogant. They're just like, look, listen, okay? Like, Nintendo, I mean, despite what many people are saying about The Last of Us, Nintendo has the best first-party IPs in the business, okay? They spend, like, these people are masters of their craft, and the reason they're masters of their craft is because they don't consider themselves to be masters. They come out with a game and, like, how can we make this next one better? Even if the game is, like, people are like, this game was perfect. How can we make this game better the next time we play it? What did we miss? How can we make it better? You know, we're trying as hard as we can to give you. There's love and attention put into their games that you don't see from a lot of other developers. Oh, yeah. Even other first parties, you don't see that a lot of times. But I mean, like, people get mad at them when they come out with something. It's like Super Mario All-Stars. I remember when I got that for my SNES. I was like, oh, I get to play all of my NES games on one cart, and they've all been up-res with better graphics. Wow, this is a truly great game. And it was. And then, I mean, they re-released it with nothing else really added to it for the Wii, but I mean, hell, it's still pretty awesome. You get 4 games. Well, no. Yeah, 4 games for the price of what 30, 40 bucks?
It was $30. I also think it had like a soundtrack in it too.
Yeah, I mean, you got a CD. Yeah. I mean, it was like the Kirby collection, the Kirby Special Anniversary collection. That was good too.
Man, do I feel idiotic to pass that, man.
Well, I mean...
Also, that Kirby game, they also had some episodes from the anime.
Yeah. Kirby is a very niche title, but Kirby is a solid title. I mean, like, no one's ever gonna say I hate Kirby. They just don't really. It might not be their thing, but it's not a bad game.
Yeah.
It looks like it's a cutesy little game until you start seeing them dual-wielding swords, shooting like a bunch of missiles and stuff like that. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Once we in our episode 2, we did Nintendo is not kidding. We broke down Kirby. Kirby looks kiddie, but once you break down what he really does and what he is, Kirby is so far from kiddie it's not even funny. But
I even added the fact that the most beautiful thing on Earth could potentially be the most deadliest thing on Earth at the same time.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's like Kirby looks like he'd be a great pet. I mean, he eats you at a house and home. That's what he does. But here, have a watermelon, Kirby. Here, have a tomato, Kirby.
I wanted to go back about the articles. There was 2 articles I wanted to mention, although I can't seem to backtrack anymore to find them. But there were 2 articles on Yahoo featured. Both of them are from the same website. I think it was Wall Street Cheat, something like that. They were published on the same day, on the 24th, July 24th. One was very passive negative of Nintendo's Mario Kart 8 scene. The other one was boasting about Nintendo's future after Mario Kart 8, E3, and so on. Now, when I saw those 2, I compared them, and the one that was passive negative against Nintendo, guess who wrote that?
The same dude who wrote the other article.
Oh no, these are two different authors. But the one that's passive negative against Nintendo, guess who the author is?
Michael Pachter.
Correctamundo, my friend.
Now how did I guess that? Well, here's the thing. Michael Pachter, speaking of trolls in the media and fanboyism and arrogance, Michael Pachter, he basically believes that that Sony is going to turn things around. Personally speaking, yeah, he believes Sony's going to turn things around. Now, their gaming division has allegedly made money, even though they sold all their stock in Square Enix and sold some buildings and fired a lot of people. So, I mean,
they combined all their numbers for all the systems.
And they combined all their numbers for they combined the PS4, the PS3, which both of those are still selling, the PS2, which no one's selling the PS2 anymore. So how in the hell is that a viable sales model?
When I saw that article for the first time, when I saw PS2 combined as well, I'm like,
yeah, I was like, this is some bullshit. I smelled it. I smelled it through my computer, through the power of the internet, through the airwaves, through my computer screen. I smelled the bullshit. I was like, this is some bullshit right here. I mean, like, here's the thing.
PSP Go,
and the Vita.
TV combined.
And here's the thing: they combined all that crap, and it still only sold 750,000, which tells me one thing: the 3DS has its foot right dead up Sony's mobile platform's ass.
Yeah.
No lube, no warning. Just Nintendo was like, "Oh, you think you're gonna come in my house, go into my kitchen, and eat out of my fridge?"
And
Really?
mind you, Nintendo was still being respectful all the way.
Oh no, yeah, because Iwata was like, "Please understand, my foot must go up your behind for coming into my market." Because look,
While holding a
mobile,
samurai sword.
yeah, people keep on saying that mobile is going to destroy Nintendo's. Look, mobile is not the same thing as handhelds. They're not.
Which also that article of
Hold on, let me chime in for a second. Go ahead.
yeah. Yes, go ahead.
The people who saying that this really irritates me when people say, "Well, mobile's gonna take over." First of all, the 3DS is like $199, right? How much is an iPhone? Like $500.
$600 for a jailbroken one.
Are you really kidding me? How can you? Man, I'm done. I said that's all I gotta say.
I mean, I've got an expensive as hell smartphone that was $650, and it basically blows anything that Apple comes out with out of the water. And I basically, yeah, I'm playing a lot on this, but right now I've been playing Puzzle and Dragons. But when that shit comes to America, I'm getting it on my 3DS because I don't like microtransactions. I haven't spent a dime in microtransactions on that game, and I'm not going to either.
Oh yeah, I've got an Asus tablet. And right now I haven't updated it through the internet, and all the stuff I've downloaded on it, I can't play unless I update it.
That's some bullshit right there.
Oh boy.
Now I have an Asus laptop. I'm glad I didn't get a tablet because I'm really fond of Asus. I got an Asus laptop that's pretty good. Got an Asus PC that's pretty good. But anyway, no, I mean Michael Pachter He's a man who knows the business side of things, but in the video game industry, if you don't understand the culture of the company, if you're just looking at numbers but you don't understand the culture, you'll never understand the business.
It's kind of like that same thing in that investor meeting where that one particular investor didn't care for the product, but yet wants to know what he could win from it. I'm like,
he's like, well, I don't like video games. I don't understand video games. I want to talk about the money. And I'm like, okay, let me tell you something. If you bought shares in a sex toy business, don't be surprised if people are talking about a lot of sex and how it's going and what the trends are. Like, don't act surprised. I can't believe these people are talking about sex all day. It's their business. That's their business. Nintendo is an entertainment business, primarily focusing on video games. Of course they're going to talk about where the industry is going, because this is their bread and butter.
Yeah. Facepalm right there, my friend.
I mean, hell, I own a business where basically we have two locations where it's the barcade. I kind of have to know what arcade games are coming out. And a lot of the arcade games that I have purchased for my business, I've had to literally order them directly from Japan, which literally doubles the cost of them because I have to pay shipping too. Sons of bitches. But
and you know what?
About Michael Pachter, there's a YouTuber called Nintendo Pro Site.
Yeah.
He's got Pachter on video saying that, he's only right 2% of the time. The other 98%, it doesn't really matter. I'm making a lot of money and stuff like that.
Yeah, he throws shit on a wall hoping something will stick, and that's basically what he does. Like, I mean, he just keeps on throwing stuff out until something will stick, and then when he's right, he's like, oh my god. But he's been wrong so often that whenever he says something, I don't listen to him. He's like okay, but I mean, like sometimes even a broken clock is right twice a day, because got that Microsoft was going to have a connectless bundle. But he predicted it late. I predicted it late too. I was like, you know what? They're gonna have a connectless bundle, and it's gonna come for Black Friday. That's when they're gonna really push it. No, they dropped that shit in July.
Yeah.
No, June. They were like,
it's called out by an investor from Microsoft, and ends up defending Nintendo.
Who got called out?
I can't remember who it was. But I read it through Player Essence. I can't remember. It was sometime last year.
Yeah.
But this guy was basically telling Michael Pachter, "Will you shut up? You don't know what's going on in the industry, so shut up."
Well, he doesn't. I mean, Michael Pachter just makes shit up, and people listen to him. They're like, "Well, Michael Pachter." I'm like, "Look, Michael Pachter. Look, okay, it's kind of like politics." And trust me, I worked in that shit. I volunteered in that shit. Oh god. If you don't understand the culture, you're not going to know what to do. You're not going to understand what's going on. Once you understand the culture and you have your ear to the ground and you understand the nature of who you're dealing with and what you're dealing with, you can begin to understand the way things are going to go. But, I mean, Michael Pachter doesn't understand the culture of the video game industry. Like, he just spouts some shit that he believes. Now, he's like, Kaz Hirai is a great CEO. Kaz Hirai is a terrible CEO. He's terrible. God. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm just going to tell you why Kaz Hirai is a terrible CEO for one reason. Because basically, Kaz Hirai was up in the executive part of that business for many years. And he was part of the problem of people covering up failures.
I'm not even sure.
Just throwing more money at stuff and moving around numbers to make it look like this division's profitable when it's actually not. We made money on this product when we're losing money on this product. And, I mean, if someone's part of that problem, you know, I'm a bit...
cut down.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really, and not to mention, nowhere in his repertoire has he shown he's been able to turn around a struggling division. Not one struggling division.
When that hack happened, too, because he became CEO during around that time.
Yeah, I mean, literally, he has not shown one division that he's been able to turn around when he was in those positions. So why in the hell do you think a dude who can't turn around one struggling division can turn around an entire struggling company that's like $180 billion company?
I was so flabbergasted to hear that Kaz Hirai is a CEO. I mean, ever since the PS3 came out, when he blabbered that get a second job, I'm like, no, this guy. No, it wasn't the second. Yeah, it wasn't the second job that got me. It was when he got out there and said $600, and the HDMI component cables weren't included. So, and those were $50 at the time, so it was really $650 for a PS3. I was like, you have got to be fucking kidding me. I mean, there's really no other way I could put that. What?
Don't get what he said about the Game Boy when they were unveiling the PSP. He said the PSP is going to be taking, you know, mobile gaming out of the gaming ghettos.
Yeah.
The one that said that.
What? All I'm gonna say about Kaz Hirai is this. To me, like, here's the thing. I can tell a douchebag from across a room. Kaz Hirai, Jack Tretton, what's his name? The dude who left Microsoft, the Xbox division. Jeez.
Oh, the Don Matrick?
Don Matrick with that shit-eating grin.
Oh my god.
Like, basically, these dudes...
I'm sorry. I have to say this. Speaking about Don Matrick, when they showed a clip of him speaking with with Steven Spielberg and
George Lucas?
Just Steven Spielberg, when he didn't say anything to defend gaming, and when Spielberg was just blasting the gaming industry, that it has no vision or anything like that. I'm like, is Don Matrick is actually going to sit there saying nothing? I mean, Matrick just froze and just kind of stare at Spielberg and just stare at the camera back, and I'm like, say something, you schmuck!
Yeah, like they were like going in on video games, talking about how video games take away from the immersion. This dude just sitting there,
Well, to be
duh.
fair, Steven Spielberg has produced 2 blockbuster video games
And you know what?
himself.
And you know what?
And you want to know the irony? They were both on the Wii U. I mean, the Wii. Sorry, they were both on the Wii.
Yeah, the Boom Block.
The Boom Blocks, those are really good games, really good fun party games. So I find it ironic that Steven Spielberg would say all that when he helped to create 2 really good games.
Ironic? That's more like hypocrisy.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I mean,
He's the producer. He just threw money out there.
well, I mean, no, I think he actually helped get the concept off the ground and everything, and helped fund it. But I mean, like, here's the thing. I don't blame Steven Spielberg. I blame Don Matrick because literally, Don Matrick, when they were making the Xbox One, he signed on the dotted line for everything they did with the Xbox One. Everything that basically alienated the holy living you-know-what out of every single one who was looking at the Xbox One, he okayed. Always online DRM. Yeah, that's good. Connect always on. Yeah, that's good. I mean, just no backwards compatibility. Yeah, that's good. A $500 price point. Yeah, that's a good idea.
And when all that stuff had to change, he quit because he got mad. He was
he quit before that shit changed. I'm gonna tell you when Don Matrick was on, when the hammer came down on his ass. When he did that interview with Jeff Keighley.
Yes, that was all.
He was like, well, we have a product. This is my Don Matrick voice. We have a product for people like that, and it's called the Xbox 360. And
Keighley's look, he's like, whoa, you like
you
just told me it's 360. You're being serious.
You like Jeff Keighley got this look on his face. You couldn't see his face, but you knew Jeff Keighley got this look on his face. That Don Matrick saw that look, and you knew Don Matrick knew in his head, oh shit, I fucked up. He wanted to steal Doc Brown's time machine, go back in time, and punch himself in the face for saying that out loud. But he couldn't. He tried to save it. He's like, well, we have some customers who work on a submarine, and I can't imagine what that would feel like. But they don't have internet connection. They don't have a stable internet connection. So for people like that, we have the Xbox 360. And then he had his wingman, Major Nelson, saying we can't just turn it off by flipping a switch. Well, actually, yeah, technically, yeah, you can, but that's okay. Major Nelson is a paid faux gamer that Microsoft pulls out to tell people what to do, to make them feel like I'm a real gamer like you guys. I'm like, yeah, no, you're not.
You know what I find very ironic when they changed all of that stuff? The very one thing that they could have left intact was that whole family sharing. When I saw they took that out as well, I'm like, oh great, that was one of the saving grace for the Xbox One.
Well, the thing is that Microsoft wanted to do it their way. Microsoft wanted the Xbox One to be this generation's Wii.
Yes.
They wanted the Xbox One to be this generation's Wii, and
after they mocked the Wii.
Well, the thing is that it was never going to be this generation's Wii because it had, first of all, it had the Kinect, okay? And let's be frank, the Kinect failed last gen, it's failed this gen, so why are you still pushing a failed peripheral down people's throats? I think the Kinect install rate for the Xbox 360 is like 18 million. Out of like 80 to, let's say, 100 million sold, 18 million. And of that 18 million sold, I can guarantee half of them are not in use. So basically, you're talking about a 10% usage rate of your peripheral. That's a failure. Okay, I'm sorry.
And here's the thing, that's like the one thing that Sony actually got right. They both copied the Wii, But when Sony realized that the move was a piece of shit failure, they gave up on it.
Yeah, they were like, you know what?
What?
Forget you
That's
guys.
the one
Forget
thing
it.
that Sony ever did
I'm
right.
out. I'm out. But Microsoft was still gonna cram the Kinect because I mean they really wanted the Xbox One to be the Wii of this generation. But first of all, it was too damn expensive. It had a peripheral that most gamers did like the Kinect. They didn't want the Kinect. And it had all that always online DRM BS, which did not help.
Supposedly on all the time too, so you could be being watched even with the system being off. And
Yeah, and the reason they did that.
You know what? I want to say something about that. The whole NSA thing. Now, even though that news was not real or could have been debunked, but just because that news broke out, fake or not, it killed the Kinect 2.0.
Well, I think it was on its way out because, like I said, the previous Kinect sucked and it was raising the price point too much. But the thing is that Microsoft added the Kinect for one reason and one reason only: ad revenue. Ad revenue. They were going to sell your personal data to media firms so that they could see what you were doing while you were watching TV, or while you were watching TV on the couch, like what you were eating, what you were doing. So then they could tailor advertisements through Xbox's online thing directly to you. Okay, that's what they were to steal Mr. Iwata's chokudets. So you know, people. I mean, that's why they did it. And you want to know why? They wanted to sell your ad revenue because the Xbox One for the 13 years, the Xbox division for the 13 years it's been in existence has never made a profit. Yeah, they've BS'd and said, well, we made a profit thanks to Android royalties. No, you didn't. You didn't make any money. I mean, that's why they aren't money-hatting exclusives like they used to. They don't have the money for it. They're like a kid whose parents have money, but they ain't got money.
Here's the thing, though. Like, remember back in the day, where if you wanted to publish your games on a major console, you paid them and you actually worked for it. But now Microsoft ruined that. They're throwing out money like $100 million for Grand Theft Auto 4.
That was stupid.
That was a terrible decision. I'm pretty sure that's not the only game that they bought.
They also spent $100 million on a new controller that uses AA batteries. So still batteries. Batteries. You went back a step. Here's the thing. If you're gonna spend $100 million on a new controller for a system, the least you could do is have one that doesn't use AA batteries.
I would have drew them up a better controller for $100. They spent $100 million.
I mean,
for the hell of it.
Literally.
Well,
literally, I mean, I know the dude who did that. He just took the money and ran. He's like, yeah, here's a new controller. Bye.
I
would have done it for $100.
You know what I found very ironic about the ad revenue? Microsoft was going to do this with the Kinect 2.0. That sucked severely. And now with Nintendo doing ad revenue on YouTube with YouTubers, it seems like Nintendo saw a sweet spot and succeeded in that.
Well, I mean, here's the thing that you have to realize about Nintendo. Nintendo is the smallest of the big three. Yeah, they have a lot of places that they're in. They have a lot of markets that they have a foothold in. But in terms of just the amount of money that they can spend on stuff, they are the smallest of the big three. And it's amazing that such a small company can go toe-to-toe against these two giants. But, you know, don't let that fool you into thinking that even though Nintendo's small, that they're dumb.
No.
Because they're small with their money, they got to be smart with it. They got to be like, hey, I can't spend money out of my. I mean, look at what Iwata said. He like, look, listen, we cannot start money-hatting exclusives because once you start, it never stops. And Microsoft and Sony are learning that lesson right now.
Yeah, the hard way. It
never ends.
Yeah, which this actually segues nicely with why Nintendo doesn't make powerful consoles.
Exactly. because they make their consoles powerful enough. You know, like
Yes,
it's kinda
enough.
like powerful enough. It's like someone coming up to you and saying, going to their parents, like, you know, little kids, you know, when you're like 5 or 6, go to your parents, are we rich? Like, how much money do we have? And your parents, if they're smart, they're like, we have enough, or we have just enough, or we never have enough. They never tell you exactly how much. Nintendo's system is powerful enough. It's more powerful than the Wii. It's more powerful than the Xbox 360. It's more powerful than the PS4. I mean, than the PS3. So, I mean, it's powerful enough. To tell you the truth, I've seen 4 games on that system that look exponentially better than anything I've seen coming from Microsoft and Sony for the next year and a half.
Please name them, Mr. Red Fox. Please name them.
Captain Toad's Adventure looks awesome.
That's one.
Captain Toad's Treasure Trackers looks better than anything I've seen coming to Xbox One and PS4. Bayonetta 2 looks
That's 2.
exponentially better than anything coming to PS4 and Xbox One. The Zelda Wii U in-game engine. Oh my god! Oh my god! That is so pretty. If a woman was that pretty, and I don't care if I was walking with my girlfriend. If a woman that pretty walked past me, I would stare and just look at her. My girlfriend would have to elbow me to get me to stop. And lastly, Yoshi's Woolly World and Kirby Canvas Curse. Yoshi's Woolly World looks like literally it looks like you can reach into your TV and interact with it. I have not seen anything that awesome in on the PS4 or the Xbox One. I haven't seen anything that looks like Kirby's Rainbow Curse looks like clay. It looks like they literally took claymation and made a game out of it. I mean, an actual clay, not like Clay Fighters clay. Actual, real, like someone made a diorama with stop motion animation and claymated it. I mean, this is next gen gaming. I mean, if I see one more grizzled, bald-headed white guy with a beard and a gun and with a gravelly voice, it's time for you to die. I'm tired of those games. I want to see something new, colorful.
You know what's very ironic? On the year that the PS4, let's just say the unveiling of the PS4, Sony was demonstrating a whole lot of tech demos to show what this console can do. Fast forward to this year's E3, we're seeing Nintendo doing a completely different kind of stuff that we have not seen for decades, or should I for a decade.
Well, all I'm going to say is this: Yoshi's Woolly World, when they showed the demo of it, the beta, the alpha footage of it, I was like, this looks like a game I'd buy. But now, with that yarn, I'm like, oh my god. I'm definitely gonna buy this. And here's the thing: I didn't even get Yoshi's Yarn Yoshi. I mean Kirby's Epic Yarn.
Yeah.
But I'm getting this. I'm getting this game because it looks so pretty. It looks so darn pretty.
And we're getting from the developers' mouth themselves that this is not going to be an easy game.
But what they need to do, though, they really need to make a special edition where you can get one of those Yarn Yoshis, because
yes,
I want one of those Yarn Yoshis. I want one of those knitted Yarn Yoshis right now. I want one, and I'm like, because I have a weakness, y'all. I like really cute stuff. Like if you give me a puppy, I lose my shit. I'm like a puppy. I'm like, oh, that's a puppy. Ah. But,
I would be bloody surprised that if Nintendo will not do that.
If they do, or they can put it on Club Nintendo for 1,500 coins. I don't care, but
yes,
I really want one of those dolls, and I would really, and I'd have to hide it from my girlfriend because every cute thing that I've ever gotten from Nintendo, she's stolen from me. and taken for herself. So, but back to fanboyism. It just people just.
Speaking about that, I just remembered something here. Anyone? Yeah. Let me just ask this. Anyone remember Adam Sessler?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Well, yes. Well,
the guy from X-Play, right? The guy that like did the internet show and on YouTube, and the guy that bald head guy that nobody really gives a damn about.
Can I make a disclaimer? I used to like Adam Sessler when he was with Tech TV.
Yes.
And I'm gonna tell you why. And even when he was with the early part of X-Play, because X-Play in its early format, like they would get on it. They'd be honest. They were the ones who told me that Skyrim on the PS3 was a broken piece of garbage, and made fun of it. Like they showed the dragons flying backwards.
And to do that,
Where's Morgan Webb?
Man, I don't know. I think she's dead. No, I'm joking. I don't think.
No, she's
she was a whole lot better.
Abby Heppy works for Epic Games as their community manager. Patrick Klepek is with Giant Bomb. I don't know where the rest of those people went. They disappeared.
I'm gonna find Morgan Webb. Hold on.
Well,
keep going.
Well, actually, last time Morgan Webb appeared in Kevin Pereira's podcast or something like that. But yeah,
Kevin Pereira. Oh man, he disappeared. I knew G4 TV was in trouble when Kevin Pereira left. I was like, man, when Kevin Pereira left, I knew they were up. Something was going on with that network. And then Olivia Munn left, and then Adam Sessler left, and then they got rid of They tried to replace Adam Sessler with Blair Herter. I was like, dude, no. Because I remember, like, they used to have, like, they used to do sketches with the interns, like, making fun of the interns and junk. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I found out where Morgan Webb is, if anybody cares.
Where is she?
She's a consultant and creative advisor for Activision Blizzard. No wonder. No wonder.
For those of you listening, the reason we're laughing.
Holy crap!
The reason we're laughing is because, like, I mean, that scene is perfect for her because she was always talking. She's always talking about how much she loved her PC so very much. And Activision Blizzard is such a PC-centric company.
Oh man.
Oh my God. Well, let me get back to Adam Sessler here. Well, there was this one Sessler something that he was basically he was podcasting himself and with others at but when one person asked a question regarding the 3D World, Super Mario 3D World, Adam here said that he couldn't get used to the controls, and when I heard that I was like, really? But then
those controls are so easy.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Here's the kicker. He couldn't get used to them because there was this one or two button configuration that was switched, and I'm like, really? I would expect something with more substance, because what he is saying basically, there has been at least one or two button configuration for just about just about every time when there's a new mechanic that comes in, like from the 2D to 3D, jumping from 2D to 3D, then there was a change in the mechanic with Super Mario Sunshine, and again Super Mario Galaxy. So I was like, I was really down in thought and say, really, Adam, something like that
threw you off your game.
Yeah, yes. The thing is, we already know that Nintendo does this stuff, even with the core Mario franchise.
Well, I'm gonna be frank with you. And I know this is gonna damage my street cred as a Nintendo gamer. But I didn't figure out you could kind of like crawl dash. Like if you run really fast and then hit crouch and the attack button as in cat you wearing the cat suit, you'll like do like a crawl dash thing. I didn't figure that out until like the seventh world by accident. I was just messing around. But I still beat the game. I still beat the game and unlocked everything. But still.
You know what? That's basically with me with Super Mario 64 when I did not know I could do a long jump just by crawl and then run fast, crawl, and then quickly jump afterwards.
What about that like little sit-down jump that Mario does, like when he goes Yahoo? That really long jump.
Yeah, his long jump.
Yeah.
Now,
I skipped through a lot of levels with using that.
No, the only reason I didn't know is because when I was like, I'm an old school gamer. When I was a kid, before you even turned on the game, what was the first thing you did?
Instruction booklet. Read
Instruction booklet. Now, I hate to say this. Yeah, you read the instruction booklet, especially with NES, SNES, N64, GameCube, because you needed to know what to do. You need to know the controls. Well, these new games, I got 3D Mario Digital, and there is no control booklet, so I didn't know about that. That's why I liked Rosalina in that game, because like she took me back to Galaxy things. I'm like, I'll just use the spin move. I'll be fine. The spin move saved my ass.
Can we go back to Activision Blizzard for a little bit? Like, I'm looking at the Wikipedia, right, and have you noticed that like Activision has buried a lot of their games? Like, remember when Tony Hawk was good?
Yeah.
Well, no, that's the Activision Blizzard cycle. See, what they do is, what Activision
Guitar
does
Hero,
is
Crash Bandicoot. They kill all it.
No, well, Crash Bandicoot. I'm going to tell you what happened. And then I'm going to introduce the final topic because we're getting up to almost 10:45. But Activision basically what they do is that they ride a franchise out until it literally falls apart on the track, and then they abandon it. So they did that with Rock Band and Guitar Hero, and then they did it with Tony Hawk, and then they're doing it now with
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. They haven't been able to do it to StarCraft, but that's the Blizzard side of things more so. And the thing is that games that I wish they'd do that to, like Blizzard, where's another Lost Vikings? Damn it!
They still do a World of Warcraft, but like,
where's the actual World of Warcraft strategy game? I'm tired of the MMO. Damn it! Even though I've never played the MMO because I knew I would get addicted, and I was like, no. But
yeah.
Here's the last topic, where the second part, arrogance can be a good or bad thing depending on how it works. Tomonobu Itagaki explained why Nintendo was the perfect choice for Devil's Third, and he said some bullshit reason that Nintendo likes games, which I'm going to tell you why I believe it's bullshit. You can agree or disagree. I'm just going to give you my theory. And before anyone jumps on me or says anything in the comment section, I'm saying this using logic and inferring with the information that I have at hand. That's all I can go on. Let's get down to my theory real quick. Tomonobu Itagaki said that 10 years ago he couldn't have put this game on a Nintendo system. He never elaborates why. I'm going to tell you why. Because Tomonobu Itagaki had his head so far up Microsoft's butt with his Dead or Alive and Ninja Gaiden franchises that he had at Tecmo Koei, that he just because remember when those games were exclusively Xbox games, Xbox One, Xbox 360.
I remember.
And then when he left, all like the later iterations after he left went on PS3 and Xbox 360. I guarantee you that when THQ folded, the first people he went to was the people that he built up a relationship with. Who was that? Microsoft. He definitely went to Microsoft first. They looked at Devil's Third and they laughed. They didn't laugh him out of their office. They politely gave him a canned response and probably said, "We'll get back to you." And they haven't gotten back to him since. Or if they have, it was like some canned, you didn't get the job, but we're still keeping you in our rosters type BS.
Just like when you go to a job interview, and they say, "Yeah, we'll consider you, and you can always reapply, buddy. Thank you."
Yeah, basically.
Yes, I can see that happening myself.
So I mean, look, Itagaki went to Microsoft. Then he went to Sony because if Microsoft doesn't want it, Sony will want it. Sony's like, I don't think so because Microsoft don't want it. Then he probably went to Capcom. He probably went to Capcom. He probably went to Konami. He probably went to let's see who else. Sega. He probably went to everyone. Nintendo was his last.
Oh, wait. Before he went to Nintendo, he went to THQ first.
No, THQ folded. That's what he went.
That's why he's going all these places in the first place.
Yeah, when THQ folded 2 years ago, he went to all these other places to get them to publish the game. To give him money. See, THQ's already folded at this point. So THQ folded, and he went to everyone he could, and Nintendo was the last choice for him. Because let us not forget, this a-hole was like, I'm not putting my games on a system like Nintendo because I don't know why, considering that Ninja Gaiden began on the Nintendo system. Yes. But arrogant ass. I'm sorry, but he's like Tomonobu Itagaki's kind of a d-bag in my opinion because he wears shades all the time.
No, in my eyes, yes, he is kind of a t-bag, but
I've seen the dude. This dude was wearing shades. He was in an interview. It was 12 o'clock at night in Japan.
Yeah.
This dude's wearing shades.
Glasses.
In the inside. I'm like, you got shades on in the inside? You're a douchebag. You ain't cool.
Exactly.
Look, you ain't cool enough to wear shades on the inside, okay?
Not unless you're Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No. Arnold Schwarzenegger ain't cool. Well, look, Arnold Schwarzenegger ain't cool enough to wear shades on the... There's only one man cool enough to wear shades on the inside.
Wait, not even... Arnold Schwarzenegger wasn't cool in Terminator?
Not cool enough to wear shades on the inside? Because once you find out who Arnold Schwarzenegger really is, like, he had that kid with the housekeeper...
Yeah, Arnold's too nice.
Although it is kind of fun. It is kind of. Yeah, he had that kid with the housekeeper, and the kid looks just like him.
But who's the person?
No, the only person cool enough to wear shades on the inside is Samuel L. Jackson. With the Jerry Curl wig from Pulp Fiction. That's the only dude cool enough to wear shades at midnight. Everyone else, I'm sorry, you're not cool enough.
Yeah.
And Tomonobu Itagaki, I mean, look, okay, Tomonobu Itagaki, you make games with female characters with big, well-endowed bodies, and dudes who are really svelte and smooth-looking, and that's your thing. I mean, aside from Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive, I don't really know. And Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball. Sorry.
That game was amazing. Best game ever.
We can't forget that seminal work that's really changed the way gaming is perceived by the media. Which even has a one-handed mode because we don't need. We all know exactly what that game is made for. But this dude right here.
That game was a true work of art.
Yeah, but the thing is that Tomonobu Itagaki went to everyone except for Nintendo last, and the dude who was his director of this game over at THQ was like, man, we're desperate. We gotta go. We gotta take it to the one dude that you... And he went to old Papa Nintendo, and Dad bailed his ass out, okay? Dad took care of him. But you know what? I mean, look, the fact of the matter is that, yeah, he had fights with Nintendo. Nintendo wasn't giving him a load of money to re-up this game in Unreal 5 or Crytek 3. when Nintendo's like, look, you're gonna make this game using the engine you have. You're gonna polish it up. You know, Nintendo doesn't do all of this weird stuff. Look, their programmers work on a salary. Okay, they get paid a certain amount of money to do their damn jobs. Okay, you want extra stuff, do something else. You know, and you don't hear about a lot of people leaving Nintendo, do you?
Nope. That's the surprise part.
Michel Ancel is taking an extra job with some indie studio in France, but I mean, you're never gonna hear, well, Sakurai is going to go make an indie game with some guy in Japan. Those people like their jobs and their shitty cafeteria food, because apparently Nintendo has shitty cafeteria food.
Yeah, but like people at Nintendo like keep their jobs, while people at BioWare and Naughty Dog are getting the hell out of Dodge, man.
They see something's going on there. What were you saying, Dark 108, 008?
Some of the people are leaving, Naughty Dog and BioWare. Some of them are going to Nintendo, like Retro Studios and stuff, are forming their own group.
Oh yeah, like a lot of people are always saying. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I try not to mention Rare too often. Is that Rare was just kind of like. The Rare that exists at Microsoft now is not the Rare we grew up on. So I kind of just, I mean, like when your talent leaves a studio, it's kind of like, I mean, is that still the same studio? Like when Greg Zeshuk and Ray Musica left, Dr. Zeshuk and Dr. Musica left BioWare, is it still BioWare?
Heck
I
no.
mean, is it still? I mean, the dude who founded, the people who founded PopCap left. Is it still PopCap? You know.
Unless those people actually had the time to give the knowledge and nourishment of the ones that left behind, I can see that company is still what it was. But if that's not the case, I don't think they did. Yes, I was going to say, if that was not the case, then yes, that company might fall flat.
Well, my girlfriend pre-ordered Dragon Age Inquisition, or I'm calling it Dragon Age 3, for me, the deluxe edition for the PS3. So here's knocking on wood. It's a good game. I hope it's good. I hope at the least I hope it's better than 2. That shouldn't be hard for it to do, though. I mean, as long as they aren't using the same dungeon like 10 times each time, we should be in good shape.
Right.
Yeah. Anybody else like who's arrogant? Who's been arrogant?
Let's see. I can think of someone else who's arrogant. That douchebag David Cage from Quantic Dream.
Oh boy.
Who the hell is that?
Pixels Equal Emotions. The dude who made Beyond Two Souls and creeped out Ellen Page because he had all these profile pictures of her, and he creeped out Ellen Page, which, I mean, I guess he really wanted to hook up with her. And the joke's on him because she don't play for that team. But anyway, so yeah, David Cage is really arrogant. Jason Rubin.
Oh my God!
You mean like that spoiled brat who's like, you know what? Nintendo is like doing all this, and we shouldn't have to buy a Nintendo system to play their games.
Yeah, he's like, I want them to go third party.
Already, baby.
Like, I want them to go third party and put their game, and so that people don't have to buy their system to play their games. I'm like,
I don't want to buy.
So basically, you want Nintendo to basically give up their only real edge, because that's part of the Nintendo thing. Look, you want to play their games, you got to buy their shit. Okay, that's just how it is.
Ever since Jason Rubin said that, you gotta wonder why there was some sort of some internal fight between him and an artist when they were making Crash.
Well, all I'm going to say is this: Crash Bandicoot was made to compete against Donkey Kong Country. It was made to compete against.
Crash is very second rate. It was never that good. I mean, it was good, but like when it comes to Mario and Donkey Kong,
yeah. I mean, as far as 3D platformers go,
it's very second rate in comparison.
Yeah, as far as 3D platforming goes, Crash Bandicoot could never hold a candle to Super Mario 64.
Or Banjo-Kazooie.
And it definitely couldn't hold a candle to Rare's 3D platformers. I mean, not the granddaddy, Mario 64, and not the grandchildren, and not the children of the granddaddy, those Rare platformers. So,
I have something else to say about Jason Rubin.
Yeah, go ahead.
Look, this guy is like giving Nintendo advice, right? But like, wasn't he like the president of THQ?
He was the CEO.
Crashed and burned.
He was the CEO.
You were supposed to go down with your ship, but you jumped ship before it went down.
No. The thing is that Jason Rubin became the president after they made a lot of dumbass decisions, like the U-Draw tablet. Like, if THQ had just kept up with their mid-tier, occasionally AAA games like Saints Row, or what else was a AAA game coming from THQ back then? Shoot, I can't remember. But I mean, because
they were never that good. What else? Wrestling, it had no mercy. But
yeah, like, I mean, like, okay, they had like a lot of mid-tier games, and then like once a year, like they'd have like 3 mid-tier games, 1 AAA game, and that worked for them. But then they went all in with something stupid like the U-Draw tablet, which, I mean, it did pretty well on the Wii because the Wii appealed to that casual crowd. But then someone at the boardroom was like, "We need to bring this to the PS3 and Xbox 360." The Dudebro twins, and that didn't.
That was the most asinine decision I have ever seen.
Well, they lost a buttload of money on it, so yeah. Yeah, it didn't.
And a person like me could have seen that was a bad idea. Who hasn't even run a business?
I will say this much about it: the Swan Song, the THQ Swan Song games, Saints Row the Third, were pretty good. Like Saints Row the Third is a game that is a game, you know. Like, so many games try for realism, man. It's telling you a story. It's a cinematic experience. Saints Row the Third is like, it's a game, dude. Like, early on in the game, you get access to a jet.
It really didn't take itself seriously. That's what I liked about it.
That was charming.
Yeah. Plus, you could hit people in the groin with like anything. A shotgun, a bat shaped like a dildo bat, whatever. Anything. You could kick someone in the crotch. You could just pile drive random people. You know, it's a game. Now, personally speaking, Deep Silver has bought the rights to use THQ as to use the publishing rights to THQ. So they've actually kind of sort of become the new THQ. Yeah. Hopefully we'll get another Saints Row and a Darksiders. Oh my God, I want another Darksiders so bad.
You want to know who else is also arrogant?
Who?
Peter Molyneux.
Oh God.
Wow.
Who is that?
Normally Peter Molyneux, he's the dude who made
Fable.
Black and White, Fable, Populous. Like, here's the thing. Peter Molyneux has helped usher in a lot of games that have redefined the industry. So he's kind of earned a little bit of a right to be kind of cocky about some things. I mean, here's the thing. I don't like Nolan Bushnell. I think he's a douchebag. But, I mean, he did help bring in home console gaming. So I mean, he can kind of be a little cocky about a few things.
Yeah.
Now he can't talk
Yeah,
now since the company he founded and sold to Warner Brothers has declared bankruptcy like 9, 10, 11 times. But you know, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Peter Molyneux's kind of arrogant on a lot of things. But I mean, like I think that now that he doesn't work for Microsoft anymore, he can afford to be not as douchey. I'll tell you who's real arrogant. Everyone at EA. Oh God, that is an arrogant ass company. They should have gotten their third Golden Poo award. Maybe they would have stopped being so douchey.
Douchey, yes.
And people don't seem to like learn from this. Like they just like, I want to play my Madden.
Yeah,
and that's what's keeping EA around. But like, I just want them to go Capcom. I want to see them go Capcom. Like, but it's gonna happen to EA eventually when 2K Sports finally gets a proper football game. EA is gone.
When people finally line up and actually think for themselves.
Oh,
Look,
here's a good one.
Sure.
What about an NFL player saying that Madden's crap and it's been crap for almost 10 years?
He wasn't lying. Look. Madden. Look, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm gonna tell you what would really get me into Madden again. If they made a Madden game where you could called Legacy Mode, called NFL Legacy, where you could basically take a player, choose their stats, choose what school they come from, get them drafted, and basically build a legacy with that player. Like actually have them level up, gain skills and abilities. You know, like learn how to run faster, how to juke really well. You know, stuff like that. And like, or if they're a quarterback, learn how to like do stuff faster, throw faster, stiff arm dudes better. I mean, you know,
that's what EA does though. Like EA, like and a lot of other companies, it seems like a lot of games lose features over time. It's like look at the new look at the new UFC game they got. Like if you look at this video by Blake316, he talks about like how you can't put a man against a woman anymore to fight. You can't do it. It's a lot of things that you can't do. You can't do cross you can't do cross weight class or anything. You can't do like the fun stuff that you did back in the day.
Not even that. The game is broken and glitchy as hell.
Yeah. And then they put Bruce Lee. They put Bruce Lee in that game, and I was just like, "Oh no!"
The best thing about my game is that it's got Bruce Lee in it.
No, Bruce Lee is rolling over in his grave. Like he does not
Look,
need.
his family needed the money.
Yeah, they obviously did sign off on it.
And I'm glad they took EA's money and ran with it. God bless them.
Yeah,
yes, I guess you gotta consider the kids.
Because Bruce Lee would be like, what, 83, 73? He'd be 73 years old now.
Oh yeah.
I bet Bruce Lee is actually weeping in his coffins right now.
No, he's laughing.
Than fucking me.
No, he's laughing because his family stole EA's money away for a broken, glitchy game that's probably not going to sell all that well. So, you know.
You know what? I guess I should say.
It dropped out of the top 10 pretty fast.
Yeah. I guess I should say this: the Bruce Lee family actually, EA actually gifted them money.
Yeah, basically that's free. Look, if someone wants to put my dead grandfather in a video game in his heyday, and give me $100 million for it, my grandfather's gonna be like, "Take that damn money, fool." He'd come to me. Take that damn money. I don't care. The dead don't have pride. They're dead.
That's very true.
But, yeah, EA is arrogant. Everyone at EA is arrogant. And I'm waiting for them to go. I'm waiting for them.
I know you're going to get on Ubisoft, too.
Oh, yeah.
Ubisoft, oh, God.
They're getting there really, really fast.
Well, they are the French EA. They want it to be the French EA. They are the French EA. Arrogant jackasses.
And, like, the dumb stuff they like, somebody on the PC, they found out how to unlock those graphics that they were showing off in the first place because Ubisoft, while they said they were polishing the game off, while they was actually downgrading the graphics.
They gimped it to make the PS4 version look the best.
And then they tried to come out and say, oh yeah, if you unlock them graphics, it's gonna play worse. I really hope people should pirate Watch Dogs at this point.
I find this ironic. How many Nintendo fans? I'm gonna say Nintendo fans because we've been saying this all year long, and maybe some level-headed gamers out there were saying this too. But we keep striving using the word optimization.
Yeah.
Well,
my ass. When it comes
well, the thing is that Ubisoft is like, okay, if you look at the sales figures for where Ubisoft is making their money, most of their shit is selling on Sony consoles. I mean, it's just a fact of life. Sony is their bread and butter. So, I mean, I understand why they have their face right dead up Sony's behind. But here's the thing, okay? The sales of their console, even though it's more than the Xbox One and the Wii U, is starting to go down. You cannot sell a console on hype and last gen remasters of games forever. They have to start producing, okay, at some point, some new games, okay?
The thing is, I thought they would have learned from Far Cry 3.
Well, you're expecting... Look, I told you, Ubisoft is the French EA. They never learn. They're arrogant.
Yeah. And here's the thing, that they're arrogant, but, like, to be quite honest, like, I think, like, a guy on my... Like, you commented, and the guy named Jack of All Games commented on one of my videos and said... And he said he told absolute truth. They are not that good. They're not a great. They make okay games, but they're not a great gaming company. They're very second rate.
Well, I mean, the thing is that okay, Ubisoft puts AAA budgets into AA games. Like Assassin's Creed is, in my opinion, it's not okay. Let me put it this way. Like, if you play GTA San Andreas, or even GTA 5, or if you play Saints Row, these are sandbox games where, really, when you're just driving around, just messing around, it's fun. When you're just running around, just doing random stuff that has nothing to do with the main game, it's fun. Literally doing anything aside from the main story and missions in Assassin's Creed games is boring as hell. It's like, let me go find this page over here. Let me go assassinate this random dude over here with these terrible graphics.
I played Assassin's Creed 3 on the Wii U. I don't know, like, I kind of liked the story a little bit because it was an Indian. I don't know, it involved Indians, and I'm very into like history or whatnot, and in like I kind of like enjoyed the parallels. But like the gameplay was
boring.
Very, very stiff, very boring, very. I don't know, like just staged and like planned out. Like the tree jumping was whack. The game was terrible.
Look, I've said this many times. In Assassin's Creed, after you're finished fighting off, you're not fighting. Instead, your greatest enemy isn't Templars and guards and all those other people. It's boredom. Like you're fighting off the urge to go to sleep because it's so boring. Now, I mean,
you know what? That was the best quote I've ever heard right there.
Because
that was amazing.
Assassin's Creed. I mean, it's like, it's just, and like Watch Dogs is Assassin's Creed with cars and helicopters. I mean, it's just, there's no real.
I tried playing Watch Dogs. I was it's like Assassin's Creed in the real world, only like you're this lame dude with a fucking net on his mouth.
Yep.
And a baseball cap. Something with some lame generic story.
Yeah.
You killed my family.
And the
want
protagonist
revenge.
is someone that you really don't like, because everything that happens to Ethan in that movie, in that game, it's his fault. It's like, dude, if you hadn't been hacking people, the shit wouldn't have come back to your family. If you hadn't, your nephew wouldn't have been attacked if you hadn't been messing with these people. If you hadn't been doing all this messed up stuff, it wouldn't have come on to you, man. What's wrong with you?
You know what?
It's very difficult for me to feel sorry for a protagonist who every single bad thing that happens to them, they kind of had coming.
You know what? Speaking about second-rate companies, you know what? We don't care. We would even like second-rate games. It's just that, please, let them play good. Let them play decent.
Well,
yeah.
It's kind of like, what are you willing? It's kind of like, are you, like, if the game is fun, that's all that really matters. Like, okay, Darksiders, the very first one, was a budget game, right? Yeah, when it first came out, it was $60, but after about a month, you could get it for $30. After 2-3 months, it was like $19. After like 6-7 months, like you get it for like $15-20. All right, $15-10 used. That is it's a fun game. Is it perfect? No, but it's fun. It's decent.
And I want to follow up on that. I'm not sure if any of you seen Levelheads Gamers podcast with K-Bomb and featured Triforce Johnson. K-Bomb asked this specific question: why can't we have a good story, good gameplay, good graphics, aesthetics? Why can't we have it all? And when he asked that, I'm like, this is the problem right here. We ask for everything, but we're not going to get everything.
That's true.
Yeah, reason why. If I really wanted to if I really want everything, then it would have been a perfect world that we would have a fusion company of Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft doing this on one console or even on PC.
Oh God, no! That's hell. No, that's not a perfect world. That's hell. I would never want Nintendo. I would never want Nintendo to be like Sony and hide sales numbers and lie and cajole and BS me. Oh God, no.
Okay, let me say the good part of Sony and Microsoft. But
there's a good part.
Serious?
Okay, I'm being facetious.
Okay.
I'm being a little bit facetious. I get what you're saying. In a perfect world, Nintendo, in my perfect world, Nintendo would have the most powerful, would have a on par powerful console with Sony and Microsoft, and and third parties would still know their damn place and stop, and the power wouldn't be. That would be a perfect world for me, but
and you see, this was my answer to that question. There's a word called compromise. I am willing to compromise something of this for this for the better of the game. As in,
the reason why let me tell you why the reason that the games aren't going to get any better, because people don't, that's what they settle for. Like, people like complain about graphics and frame. Like, since when did frame rate become so big?
Yeah.
Like, are you really looking at that shit when you play video games? Like,
most people look. It's like when Digital Foundry did that thing with the 59 frames per second on Mario Kart 8. I was like, look, man, if you can tell the difference between 59 and 60 frames per second,
I can't even tell the difference
to the naked eye, without your machines, then you, sir, need to become an assassin.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I can't even tell the difference between 30 and 60, and like, I can't. I honestly can't. I don't care.
Actually, you can. But for me, I don't care. But you see,
I don't care, and I probably don't. I probably could if I looked at it. but I don't care.
Yeah.
You care too much about crap.
Yeah, but you see, that's the problem. They're actually compromised for the wrong stuff.
The wrong stuff. You're right. And then it's not going to get any better because they got the 4K TV right around the corner. They're going. Next generation is going to be,
Man,
hey, my game is in 4K
you want to know when 4K
40p, and yours is in 1200p, and this 1300p, and this is going to be more bullshit, you know.
Trust me, 4K TVs aren't going to be in 4K TVs aren't even going to be affordable for people until the next generation TVs after that come out to at least being moderately affordable for very comfortable people. So, I mean, it's like 3D TVs. Yeah, you can get a 3D TV now, but 4K TVs are around the corner. The thing is that, like, you can't have everything. It's quid pro quo. It's like you have games now where people are like, oh, well, I want multiplayer on games that traditionally have not had multiplayer.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. Like they want multiplayer in like a Mario game. I don't want nobody jump. I barely like playing Mario games with people Mario games with people
right next to you
in my house.
Exactly.
Right next to me because they stepping on my head. They're getting in my damn way. And they're
the thing that gets me is that like developers are adding multiplayer to things and co-op to things, and it's like, look, man, listen. That's resources that could be put into adding a new area. That's resources that could be put into adding more game content. Why in the hell would you want a single-player-centric game to have some co-op or multiplayer pigeonholed in when you could have a really good single-player game?
I mentioned that about like Grand Theft Auto 5. Like, if you play San Andreas and you play Grand Theft Auto 5, San Andreas is probably bigger.
So
and
much better.
Is much better. You have more missions, better characters, but like the game. But in like Grand Theft Auto 5, they put it all towards like online, and I just hate it because there's so many damn assholes.
Well, the thing is like in GTA 5, there were resources that could have been put into making expansion packs, DLC, because believe it or not, GTA 4 and GTA 5 were actually games that GTA 4 benefited from expansions. GTA 5 would be awesome if they had expansions, even if it was just like, hey.
You expand on a single-player game, though, like nobody gives a damn about no damn heist.
Yeah, like it's.
I mean, a year later, who cares? Seriously.
But I mean, and they're gonna
Those
remaster
heists are
that. They're gonna remaster that and put it on PC, and so you know.
Or an Xbox One.
Yeah, they're gonna remaster it and put it on PC and Xbox 4 and Xbox One and PS4. They should have just called it the Xbox 2, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
The Xbox 360 2 or the Xbox 720. That would have been better. Whoever was in that room and said we should call it the Xbox One because it's the one console you'll ever need. Unless you want to play your Xbox 360 games, then you're gonna have to keep that shit hooked up to your TV too.
Backwards compatibility? Nah, fuck that shit.
Now,
we're going with the future. Connect.
If you want backwards compatibility, you're really, really backwards.
Yeah, that's backwards.
Now, speaking about K-Bob, he is the kind of person that likes games for its story. No problem with that, K-Bob. But for me, I'd like to actually, play games.
I mean, look, I did a video that showed me where I showed a movie. Because that's what people. Where I showed a movie, and I said this is the best video game I've ever played. And the thing is, right? That's what I played Metal Gear Solid 4. Let me give you an example of why I hate video games.
Isn't that like 80? Isn't that like 50% movie?
No. Even worse. Even less than that. It's like 4 hours of gameplay, 10 hours of cutscenes. I swear to God, I was playing this game. I played the game for like 12 minutes after watching a 30-minute cutscene. Then another 30-minute cut. Then another cutscene comes on. I took a 30-minute nap. I wake up and they are still talking in an office. I'm like, how long are you gonna talk? How long is this cutscene gonna go on? I hate this game so much.
Well, I hate to say this, but there goes another person who's arrogant. Hideo Kojima. And his brother from another mother, Hideo Baba. I mean, these are some arrogant, and whoever is in charge of who's in charge of Final Fantasy. Hey guys, people really love Final Fantasy 13. No, they don't. Japanese gamers hate that game.
Yeah. Lightning sucks. Lightning is ugly.
Lightning is like one of the worst protagonists I've ever seen in a Final Fantasy game.
Worse than Titus. Oh.
Well, look, man, I wouldn't go that far, but she's pretty damn bad. Titus whined too much for me. Titus, it's like, look, man, before you save the world, you're gonna have to spend 5 years in therapy talking about your daddy. So you work out your daddy issues, and we'll go save the world. I'm gonna tell you, the best female protagonist that Final Fantasy ever created was Terra from Final Fantasy VI. Because she was insanely powerful, and she was insanely powerful, and even when you so-called rescued her, she still was a badass. You know.
Kind of like, I don't know, how come people can't make, how come characters they don't make female characters like Paula anymore, even though she was kidnapped, from Earthbound? How come they don't make strong female characters? They always got to be just wimpy and damsel in distressy.
Heck, even Princess Peach, for as many that she was a damsel in distress, she could actually defend herself.
Let me put it this way: give her a parasol like in Super Princess Peach. Princess Peach is badass. She will destroy her emotions.
I really wish that they would stop kidnapping her though. Honestly, after 3D World, I enjoy playing with Peach so much. I really don't want to see her get kidnapped anymore because it's kind of becoming unbelievable with how good she is.
Well, let Mario go to other worlds. I mean, this is why I'm kind of happy that 3D World didn't take place in the Koopa Kingdom and in the Mushroom Kingdom with Bowser and although I will say this much, they've returned to
Super Mario Brothers 2.
No, I want to go back to Dinosaur Land.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I want to go back to Dinosaur Land with the Yoshis, okay? I'm sorry. I want to go back to a game where I get to ride Yoshi and eat enemies and spit them out at other people and bring back the cape feather, you bastards. Bring back the cape feather. I want to fly.
Mario World is my favorite game of all time. This first game I've ever played. And I miss the Dinosaur World. I miss the football players coming at you.
Well, they had Charging Chuck in Super Mario, and actually, they had Charging Chuck looked more badass in 3D World because in the old ones he just threw footballs at you, baseballs. But now he's Chuck ain't playing around.
Yeah,
and that leaves me with this. Sorry, go ahead.
That's why I like Super Mario Galaxy 2 and 3D World so much. It seemed like they started to tap into the world of Super Mario World and bring back some of that stuff that made it so great.
Well, I'm gonna be frank with you. I would love if Nintendo made you know how they did basketball and soccer and baseball. I would like if they did an arcade-style football game with Mario characters. But here's the kicker, right? You pick a character. You can be like a Toad. You can be Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, whoever. And then what?
No, keep going.
You can be any of those characters, and then you go out into the Mushroom Kingdom, Dinosaur Land, and you scout characters, and you get them to join you by doing some type of mini game that teaches you a mechanic, and then you build your team. And once you have 11 players, you play other teams, and then that's a season. You play 10, 11 games, that's a season. And then if you do well enough, you get to play a tournament, and then the season's over, you get a cup or whatever. And then you can go and scout other players to join your roster, but they're like reserve characters. And like that would be a cool game to play. Like you could have like Charge and Chuck as linebackers, because I mean, come on, man, they are linebackers.
Yeah, you know what? When I mentioned about Sarasa Land, Super Mario Land, I actually wanted to see those enemies from there actually being introduced in sport games. I mean, I could see that enemy character in the fourth Lost World. That's kind of like the zombie, the hopping zombie, Chinese zombie.
Chinese zombie, yeah. They hop.
Yeah, I think their official name is Pionpi, and actually, I would really like to see those enemies types to be featured in more games. I always find something very unique to them in a Mario in the Mushroom Kingdom, Mushroom World.
Well, to be frank with you, both Super Mario Land for the Game Boy and its sequel Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins, were, generally speaking, aside from a few Goombas, those games were balls to the wall insane.
Oh, yes, man.
Mario itself is kind of a balls to the wall insane game, but those games were even more balls to the wall than normal, which is kind of weird.
But they work though.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's be frank here. I mean, this is Nintendo. Nintendo very rarely makes a bad game. Like the worst game I think they've made was Legend of Zelda 2: Link's Adventure, and even that game, in retrospect, isn't a bad game. It's just so vastly different from its predecessor that people felt alienated.
Yes.
But it introduced a lot of things that have become staples for the Zelda series, like magic points, towns, NPCs to talk to, side quests. I mean, you know, magic. The downward stab, which is now like one of Link's like signature moves.
Yeah.
The downward stab. Link planting his sword in someone.
You know, surprisingly, to see that specific move in Smash Brothers, the 64 version of all the Zelda games that was produced, it came out that move brought back outside of the Zelda games.
Well, let's be frank. Super Mario Smash Brothers 64 was a 2D fighter, and what other 2D Zelda game did they have? Zelda 2 was 2D. Now you had 2D portion things in the Game Boy Color games and Link's Awakening, but generally speaking, in those kind of sort of you could downward stab dudes, but it wasn't the same.
Oh my bloody God! I just had an epiphany.
Yeah.
I remember that there was a sprite, an animation of Link in Zelda 2. It was a forward downward slash, and it was recreated back. It was recreated back in Smash Brothers, exactly picture perfect.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that Nintendo's greatest strength is that they have history, right? They have history. They have IPs. They have a lot of gravitas and memories tied up with their IPs. And you know, I mean, Microsoft isn't dumb enough to think they can make a handheld to go against that. So, because look, listen, they're already getting their ass kicked by the PS4. They don't need to get their handheld ass kicked by Nintendo's handheld. Only Sony is brave enough to think they can break up. Let's see, Game Boy. I'm going to consider the Game Boy and Game Boy Colors one generation. So that's one generation. The Game Boy Advance, second generation handheld for Nintendo. The Game Boy, the SP. Well, that's all the same. That's all Game Boy Advance. The DS, That's another. That's the third generation. The 3DS, the fourth generation. Fourth generation handhelds just completely obliterating more powerful handhelds put up against them. But Sony is going to be the difference. It's going to make the difference.
You know,
really?
This brings back how can I say a saying? It was actually in the movie. It goes like this: 1 part brave, 3 parts fool.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of like okay. It's kind of like a woman going with a man who's kind of an asshole, right? She's like, well,
Yeah.
I can change him. I can change him. No, you can't. If someone's an asshole before you marry them, generally speaking, they're going to continue to be an asshole.
Well, yes.
It's not going to somehow change mystically because you're going with them. They're just an asshole with another person to make miserable besides themselves. No.
Very true.
I mean, that's just how it is. And I mean, look, to transfer that allegory to Nintendo. Nintendo has 4 generations of kicking other handhelds' asses. And you want to know how they do it? By making cheap to make but still high quality handhelds
And still affordable.
that are affordable with high quality first party content and exclusives. That's it.
I mean, but the N-Gage, you remember that game? That
Oh,
thing right there?
the N-Gage.
We remember that.
N-Gage.
That came really close to like being better than the Game Boy.
No, it didn't.
That's obviously a terrible
Oh.
joke.
the N-Gage, like basically every single handheld that has ever come out against a Nintendo handheld, like that was more powerful than the Nintendo handheld, sold like garbage. It got its ass handed to it by the Nintendo handheld.
Too? What the hell?
It doesn't matter. Look, I had a Game Gear and a Game Boy Color, and I can tell you right now, when the Game Gear died, it died. There's nothing I could say about it. It just died. I wasn't like these Vita people. Like I saw Alpha Omega Sin make this video. He's like, it's not dead. Yes, it is. The Vita's dead. It's done. Look. The Vita's biggest game of the year came out, Freedom Wars. It'll be lucky if it cracks 350,000 units sold. And it's being sold on the PS4, the PS3, and the Vita. Okay? It's being sold on 3 systems, and it hasn't cracked 350,000, and I doubt it's going to. Now, Yokai Watch 2 just came out, a few weeks ago. It's at 180 million. 1,800,000 units sold right now. Plus, okay, and that's only one of the biggest 3DS games coming out this year.
It got 2 versions, right?
And it got 2 versions. I mean, look, there's Yoshi's new Yoshi's New Island. And while it's only sold 60,000, it's going to continue to sell throughout the life cycle of the 3DS. That's money coming in Nintendo's pockets. Pokemon Alpha and Omega is coming out later on this year, like in September or October. Plus, we got Smash Bros. For 3DS. I mean, you got 4 big games coming out, or that have come out.
Let me tell you a game that's really big already, and it's already at like over 3 million. But when it releases and it's only in Japan. When that game comes out worldwide, that's gonna hit like 10 million.
And people, I mean, and Sony's like, well, we got Freedom Wars. That's the one big game coming out for your system this year. Well, we got indie games too. Look, man, just take your money. Just okay. I'll tell you what Sony should do. Okay, they should next year, like before E3, they should release a thing saying, okay, we're discontinuing the Vita. It's over and done with. They should make one big Sony first-party game as a last hurrah for the Vita, like a farewell, bye. And that should be like their last thing, and that's the end of it. And they should be like, look, because I mean, literally, they could take their money and put it into making first-party games, new first-party games, not remastered stuff for the PS4 right now. They need to be making first-party stuff for the PS4. They don't need to be paying third parties to put their stuff on their system.
And the thing is, right? You got Shuhei Yoshida talking about, oh, you want AAA games? laughing in your face like, oh, you want AAA games? Yeah, you're gonna have to wait for that.
No, he's like, look, you want AAA games? I don't know. No, he's like, why? I don't understand why people want AAA games all the time.
Why do you want high quality games for this thing you spent $400 on?
I'm sorry, I'm a Nintendo fan. I may be spoiled. I mean, as a Nintendo fan, as a Nintendo owner, I'm spoiled. Most of the games that come to my system are high quality, and if they aren't if they are budget titles like Wii Sports, they're fun as hell. So I'm sorry if I expect a system that I plop down money for to actually have some good, fun, high quality games.
Oh yeah, and then like,
how dare I have the expectation?
And even though we tell you all about this 1080p, 60 frames per second stuff, what about you'll enjoy playing these indie games that look like they came out in the year 1992. That's what we made the PS4 for, even though 1080p 60 frames per second, right? I mean, seriously.
It's kind of sad. It's kind of sad how basically there is no real. It's kind of sad how there's. I mean, look, you get a system on the promise. Like I always am an early adopter of Nintendo hardware because I know I'm going to get Zelda. I know I'm going to get Mario. I know I'm going to get some high quality exclusive third and second and first party content. I mean, obviously first party, but I know I'm going to get some. Like, I wouldn't have gotten Hyrule Warriors on Sony because Sony doesn't have the IPs for a Hyrule Warriors game, unless you want to play Sony Warriors with Kratos, Paul Rappa the Rapper, Big Daddy, even though he's not a Sony IP.
You know what? I could actually.
Oh, but what about the Smash Bros. Ripoff?
Yeah,
they had all the biggest stars in there. PlayStation All Stars.
Yeah, it had Big Daddy in it, even though Big Daddy is.
They had Dante from Devil May Cry, even though that's Capcom. The sucky Dante.
You know what? I would actually see. I can actually see a God of War series in Muso style.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's just gonna be Kratos. Like,
except here's the thing: the only badass character in the entire damn franchise is Kratos. Everyone else dies too easily. Like, here's the thing: by the time I played through God of War, I borrowed the God of War trilogy from a friend of mine. I played through that entire trilogy. By the time I got to the second game, I wanted to kill Kratos myself. Like, Kratos is not a likable character. Like, he's kind of like Ethan from Watch Dogs. Like, everything that happens to Kratos, he brought on himself. Like, why would you devote yourself to Ares? Ares, if you know anything about Greek mythology, Ares is kind of like the last, like, of the two Greek gods of war. Ares is not the dude you want to devote yourself to.
And if anybody watched Xena, or like if you watch Xena or whatnot, like, you know, like, Ares is a jerk, especially if you watch Hercules or Xena. Oh God! And then, like, I will say something about, like, Greek mythology and God of War. How they butchered that. They raped Greek mythology.
They did.
They raped it. Like,
Kratos killed Hercules. I'm like, you're gonna let this bastard kill Hercules?
The first real. Even though he was voiced by Kevin Sorbo, the guy who played, like, the original Hercules.
Yes.
You let this guy kill Hercules, a hero. You made Hercules into a bad. Like, a raping of Greek mythology. They raped it.
Yeah,
killing all the guys.
He was banging Aphrodite, and isn't Aphrodite supposed to be his sister or something?
Well, he's the son of Zeus, so yeah. But if you know anything about Greek mythology, Zeus slept with many of his granddaughters throughout the ages. So I mean,
So yeah, it's still gross
Zeus was
though.
a lecherous jerk.
It's still gross though.
All right, we're Dark One's 008 has to bounce. We're gonna let him give his send off before he goes. So go ahead, give your send off, Dark One 008.
Okay, this is Dark 1008. I wish I had more to say, but this was a fun podcast. And hopefully I'll be on another podcast at some point. But it was a fun podcast, like I said. So that's basically it. I'm really tired right now. So
I can understand
Yeah.
all day. So you have a good night and enjoy your time. And we hope we'll see you at more podcasts.
okay.
And with that, I think we should start to wrap this up. Anyone has any final topics before we bounce?
Oh yes, I have a final topic.
Okay.
Dark Phoenix, you wanted to say something?
No.
Okay, one final topic, and then we're bouncing.
All right. I actually wanted to save this for Double MO6, aka Micah, aka DGC for Gamers, but I think I'm gonna say it right here and right now.
Okay, go ahead.
This is about this year's E3.
Okay, go for it.
Now I'm not sure if anyone noticed this, but I'm gonna lay a brief summary for Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. But Microsoft, there's something's going on over there. Okay, we already know. Nintendo blew it out of the park this year's E3. Sony kind of busted up in a way with the whole the whole TV series and all that whatnot, and the share button. And with Microsoft, I have to give them props for just laying it out. It's all about the games. But this is where I got a grueling suspicion with Microsoft. I'm not sure. Again, I'm not sure if anyone caught this or had the same feeling. Even though Microsoft done great and Phil Spencer gotta give this man a clap for what he did, but I kind of feel like they brought Phil Spencer kind of maybe too late, and I also this glaring suspicion in the background. Ever since the whole DRM and the Kinect 2.0 fiasco, I feel like Microsoft, or if they want to do anything with their gaming division, like for instance for the Xbox One, I feel like they don't have that room or that whole space for them to wiggle around with what they want to go or what they want to envision, because it feels like from this point on, anything they want to do to make themselves feel special, it might be the downfall for them, because it seems like, okay, the whole DRM thing that didn't went good. Connect 2.0 that went that sank. So I feel like if they do anything geared special or too much away from gaming, that it will definitely be a detriment to them. That will possibly feel like Xbox fans or gamers will be betrayed by Microsoft. So yeah, Sony on the hand, yeah, they have they could do what they want, because they got the gamers, for the lack of better way of saying it, they got the gamers by the balls.
Well, they do.
Oh yeah.
The thing that I've noticed about Microsoft is that like to me, I'm just gonna I may have said this in an earlier video or maybe even in a podcast, but I'm just gonna reiterate it. Basically, Microsoft came out with a C at E3 to me. Initially they had a C, Sony had a D. Microsoft had a C compared to last year's F. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is a market improvement. They got better, but still, I mean, like, I wasn't really impressed with their game because people are like, well, look at Sunset Overdrive. It's Ratchet and Clank without Ratchet and Clank. I mean,
Yep.
look at it. It's got the rail grinding, the jumping back and forth while shooting groups of enemies, the setting off certain environmental hazards to take out people. It's Ratchet and Clank without Ratchet and Clank with better graphics. Okay. Now, if you like Ratchet and Clank, God bless you. I like Ratchet and Clank, but I like the characters. The gameplay isn't so much the big thing. I like the characters of Ratchet and Clank. So that's not a big sell for me. The whole, but compared to what they showed last year, I mean, it's head and shoulders better than what they did last year.
Heck
But
yeah.
the problem is that when Nintendo came out with their stuff the day after, it made Sony and Microsoft look so bad that they got downgraded. It's like, it's basically like seeing a kid. It's like Sony. It's like kids in second grade doing a diorama. Microsoft came in with a better diorama than they did the last quarter. They had to do a diorama, like much better comparatively speaking, but still, it's like a second grader did this. And then Sony came in with the same sorry-ass shit they had the last year, except like they had nothing to back it up, so it actually looked worse. And then Nintendo came in with some stuff that looked like a genius kid made it. And it's like, my God, this is a multimedia presentation, and it's really, it's humorous, it's insightful, it's informative. My God. And then they backed it up to drive home the point with 3 days of Treehouse Live, where they went in depth. I mean, and to think the CEO did all of this without actually physically being there.
Yeah. And on the bed.
I mean, I would like to imagine, even though this probably isn't true, that Iwata was like, no, I don't need anesthetic. I have to coordinate this ass kicking via text and email. I mean, basically, Satoru Iwata masterminded this curb stomping that Nintendo delivered to Microsoft and Sony and lowered their grades. Nintendo got an A because I know that no matter how good I think that thing was, it could have been better. There's some things could have been better. The Direct could have been like Direct should have been like an hour. I think.
The thing about the only thing I didn't like about Nintendo's like conference is the way it was organized. Like it had all the content was great, but it was too short.
Yeah.
And I feel like and I was like very upset that Retro Studios was a no-show, but I know it's for good reason. And no Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem.
You know what? I'm not gonna. At first I was kind of a little upset by that myself, but then I realized something. Nintendo is making E3 irrelevant. Because they have other ways of getting their information out that circumvents these media sites which takes us back to our original topic, fanboyism in the media and the video game media. It circumvents these media sites that are like, oh well, Nintendo came out with something and it was just total garbage. And it wasn't good enough, and it just wasn't what we wanted. We heard someone say that, hey, I really want Star Fox. Well, they're making a Star Fox. They're making a Star Fox. And
E3 really isn't that big of a deal anymore if you really think about it. Like,
no, because Nintendo has their directs. I mean, they're coming out with a direct for Hyrule Warriors that I'm looking forward to.
And then the thing about Nintendo E3 in general, the only people who were on TV was Microsoft, but like it's on the internet. Who the hell watches E3 but nerds like us. You know?
Yes.
Well, not just that. Who's gonna watch it on TV? Like here, who is sitting down in front of their TV with a beer in their hand watching that shit? I mean, like, here's the thing. I would watch it on my internet, like stream it. Like I watch the Twitch things after the fact because Nintendo put it up on their thing. I was like, wow, this is like it's 5 hours of them talking about games that I like, more in-depth information that you couldn't put in that direct event. So I mean, Nintendo's gonna have a Smash Direct later on this year. They're gonna have a Fantasy Life Direct later on this year. They're gonna have a Hyrule Warriors Direct later on this year. They're gonna have a Bayonetta Direct, and I hope I never have to hear Satoru Iwata say Umbran Climax ever again. Like, I like Iwata. I never want to hear him say Climax ever again. I just never, ever,
That was
ever.
horrible.
That was horrible. It's like, no.
No.
You know what?
Chokudetsu. Chokudetsu. Which in Japanese is directly to you.
I would have to I have to put a bit of a dent on what you say about who's going to look at that on TV. I would say I'd be one of the few that would, but here's the kicker. We have smart TVs now, so practically you don't need cable. You could just hook that TV up on the internet and stream it up there.
Exactly.
and have the whole family.
If you have a decent, if you have a laptop, a decent laptop within the last 2 years, you can hook it up to a smart TV with HDMI and do whatever you want to. So I mean, it's kind of a moot point to watch that stuff on the. But I mean, the thing is that Nintendo changed the game. They changed the game, and hopefully Microsoft and Sony saw it, and hopefully Nintendo locked down Robot Chicken so Microsoft and Sony can't get them.
And speaking about that, the E3 was let me just say was tweeting so much because of Nintendo.
Yeah. Because, I mean, really, I mean, I was like, literally, I mean, I did a review of those two conferences, Sony's and Microsoft's. They put me to sleep. Like, the games were mostly shared between both consoles, so they were multi-plat, so I discounted that. The really memorable games from those games, No Man's Sky is going to be on PC. Grim Fandango Remastered is going to be on PC. Little Big Planet 3 is going to be on PS3 and PS4. I mean, like, literally any reason I would have to get a PS4 has kind of been invalidated by the fact that a lot of it's going to be on PC. So it's like, I don't see the point in buying your system. Now, with Microsoft, it's like, well, okay, they showed Project Sparks, which really had me going until I found out that's going to be on PC too. So, I mean, it's going to be on PC, and it's a development kit like RPG Maker. It's a platformer maker. So no, they aren't making a new Conquer game, although you can buy resources to have Conquer as a avatar to run and jump in.
But you know which conference actually put me to sleep? Surprisingly, it was
Sony?
No, it wasn't Sony nor Microsoft. Actually, with Sony, I was enraged.
Well, who put you to sleep? Nintendo?
No.
Ubisoft?
Ubisoft, exactly.
Yeah, Ubisoft is really boring. I mean, they are really
Their games are very
boring.
Far Cry.
And you know what?
Assassin's Creed. Rayman is
Far
probably
Cry-
the best game they got, and even that is second rate.
Far Cry was good. Beyond Good and Evil was pretty good. Let's see. Assassin's Creed I could care less about. So basically, there's only two IPs that they have that I care about: Rayman and Beyond Good and Evil. And until I get a Beyond Good and Evil 2, I don't care. Like I still don't have Rayman Legends because I'm mad because it was supposed to come out on my birthday. It was supposed to come out February 7th last year, and
God.
they delayed it. They're like at first they were like, oh, there's a shipping delay. It's like, oh no, the game's been delayed the game's been delayed for a month, and then they said, oh, the game's been delayed for 6 months. I was like, you know what? I'm never giving you $60. No.
And you know what? Me sleeping on Ubisoft conference, that wasn't surprising to me because last year, so many media outlets actually dictate that Ubisoft won last year's E3. Yes.
Now the thing that gets on my nerves is that I've heard a lot of Nintendo fans before Ubisoft came out with all this BS. We need to support Ubisoft because they're supporting Nintendo. Look, if what Ubisoft has been putting on the Wii U is support, I don't want it. I don't want their support.
Yep.
If what you're going to do is give us gimped ports, delayed games, broken games, I'd rather not get a broken game. I'd rather you not put it on my system if you can't get a decent game out there. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
If you can't do it right, don't do it at all. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, like I actually respect like CD Projekt Red and everybody else who doesn't like bring the games over more just because they save us like the slap in the face or spitting in our face like by just staying away rather than giving us a crappy version.
I have to give it up. Even though EA is a bunch of arrogant jerks, they took the rag off. Like, we're not putting games on the Wii U. And I don't have to get my hopes up. I don't have to like get disappointed because a game is gimped because nothing's coming from them. I'm like, I don't. It's kind of like how I'm tired of people bringing up Rare at Microsoft because anytime they make something, oh, Rare, it's going to be something that's going to disappoint me. Like every time they pull out a Rare IP and it just turns out to be some garbage, I'm like, oh, a little part of my soul just died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you right there.
Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. Yeah.
Oh, a little part of my soul died. Perfect Dark Zero. A little part of my soul died.
I had zero interest in that game.
My personal favorite, Conquer Live and Reloaded.
Yeah.
The game looked better, but guess what? They censored it. I mean, one of the iconic parts of that game is fighting the Great Mighty Pooh, and they censored it. They censored the Great Mighty Pooh. I mean,
again, this falls back with what do you want the compromise for? Again, example, Conker's Bad Fur Day. What you have on
the version of that game is on the N64. I'm sorry. The definitive version of that game, it's kind of like just because something is it has graphically more advanced, the definitive version is not always like the definitive version of Rayman Legends is on the Wii U. The definitive version of Gauntlet Legends is on the N64. Even though the PS1 version has FMVs, it looks like garbage compared to the N64 version.
Exactly. Like again, I'm going to reiterate the conference. Nintendo didn't have to grab you by the balls. You are what they brought out. There's 50% chance that you are willing to accept it. Sony, on the other hand, got you by the balls. Microsoft, more like with Microsoft, with them, with the Xbox One, it's like Microsoft is like this. They turn around, bend over, stick out their butt cheeks, and ask the gamers, "Plow me. I won't do it ever again."
I'm gonna head out. My dog is begging me to take him outside.
Okay, then that's cool. We're about to wrap this up and end with our final thoughts. So that's cool. I hope you have a good day or good night. Or yeah, it's Friday. Good day.
All right. I'll see
Peace
you.
out, man.
All right. See you around.
Okay then. All right then. We are now at ending the incredibly large BS Busters episode 3 podcast, Fanboyism in the media and when arrogance is sometimes warranted and or a help or a hindrance.
With some reiterations in the mix.
Yes, we kind of veered off topic, but we got the main issues done. Look forward to me uploading some good stuff for tomorrow. Look forward to my co-host, Triple M, joining me on future Bullshit Buster episodes. We'll just...
You know what? I'm kind of... The first time when you said that I was a co-host, I was kind of shocked and really speechless.
Well, you've been here for almost all of them, so I mean, you come here regularly enough. You're a co-host. So,
right.
So yeah, we are. This is the Bullshit Busters. We got our third member, and we're gonna try and get him here in regularly. Darker Phoenix, because sometimes. Sometimes you can't let falsehood and lies and misinformation stand. You have to stand up and bust it. And that's what I created Bullshit Busters for, because I got tired of seeing the misinformation and bullshit in regards to, in gaming in general, Nintendo in particular. Because, I'm saying this from the heart. These people helped bring gaming back from the dead. They established high-quality IPs that are still with people today, and yet they get shit on for not being like everyone else.
And there's a great chance that Nintendo is the one that made us who we are today, especially with me.
Nintendo has given so much to this medium. I mean, when you think of 3D platforming, they created the template for that. When you think of an adventure game, they created the template for an action-adventure game. They created the template for open-world games. They created the template for... they introduced a lot of people to JRPGs.
And most important, they bring charm to their characters.
Oh, yeah. They always bring a sense of wonder to their games, a sense of joy. I've said this before in videos that I've made. Nintendo is the only company that, even though in some ways I feel jaded sometimes, but they're the only they're the only developer that I play their games and it makes me feel like I'm that little 5-year-old playing on an SNES for Christmas.
And that's
I was 4, about to turn 5. That little 4-year-old about to turn 5. Playing an SNES in my parents' room, playing Super Mario World and Legend of Zelda. I mean, I'm that little kid all over again whenever I play Nintendo games. I don't get that from Sony. I don't get that from Microsoft.
And that's what's Nintendo's goal: make grown-ups feel like kids again.
I mean, that's how they make me feel. And I tell you, if I ever have any kids, they will be playing Nintendo games. Because, I mean... There's no substitute for it. I mean, there's no one who makes games like Nintendo. There is no one who makes games that bring that sense of wonderment. And to see people discount them and disrespect them and disregard them when they've given so much to this medium, to this industry, is, I mean, sure, they got paid too. I mean, this is a business. They want to get paid too, but I mean, you can go back and play their games and they hold up. I can go back and play Super Mario World, it holds up. I can go back and play Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, it holds up. I can play Super Mario 3, it holds up. Super Mario Brothers 3, it holds up. These games stand the test of time. Not many other manufacturers. I mean, Sega used to be able to do it. Like, I can still go back and play the original Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles. But after that, I can't go back and play those games. I can't play Chaotix. I can't play I can't play Sonic Adventure. I'm sorry.
To a certain degree, Sonic CD.
I can't even play that.
Okay,
I can't play those. I can't, like, literally the 2D Sonics on the Sega Genesis are like my favorite Sonics. After that, I just don't I can't do it. I can't Now that isn't to say there aren't some games that stand the test of time, but the thing is that those companies don't make games like that anymore, whereas Nintendo still does. Like, Sega doesn't make Sonic games like that anymore. You know, the games that I enjoyed from Sony's first generation console, the PS1, they don't make games like that anymore. They don't even make games like they did in the PS2 era. The PS3, I saw very few charming, quirky little budget titles coming from Sony that were also really fun to play.
Of course. Yes. Well, I guess we've dragged this long enough.
Well, anyway, that's the end. It's time to bounce. We enjoyed our listeners who listened to us go on and on about BS busting and everything like that. If you have any comments, leave them in the comment section. Please be mindful of our code. We do not like or respond kindly to trolling and spamming, so please don't do that. No personal attacks against other commenters or the authors of this podcast, so please don't. I don't like banning people. I will if I have to, but I don't like it. And finally, game on. Just look, don't play games because your friends play it. Play games because you enjoy it. Now,
Yeah.
that's it. Just game on because you want to, not because you have to, or because your friends are doing it. Because I mean, there's so many things that have turned out wrong because people were doing it because their friends were doing it. So, with that, I bid you a good night, and you guys have a good day.